123 points per 100 possessions. The Fordham Rams are in major need of a get-back game. We'll see if Day-Day Reeves and company can put on a good showing against the Jersey Boys off Broadway. It's the traveling Fairleigh Dickinson Knights and the Rams, the hosting Fordham Rams, and it's next on WFUV Sports. Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym for men's basketball action as the hosting Fordham Rams take on traveling FDU. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey. Brendan, a devastating loss last weekend for the Rams. How do they get back on track this evening?
Yeah, Chris, I think devastating is the perfect way to put it. You're up 12 with about 4 to go and end up losing that game. Coach mentioned to us before the game that this FDU team likes to run a small lineup with 4 guards out there. Look for Fordham to take advantage of their size.
And on the other side, for their opponent, FDU, a 2-7 start to start the year. Brendan, the struggles for this Knights team begin and end on the defensive end.
Yeah, according to Ken Palm, they're ranked 356 out of 365 teams defensively in terms of points given up per 100 possessions. It's where they've been struggling all season long. Their offensive output has been solid, but the defense is where they've been living and dying this season. So look for them to come out aggressive.
We got a chance to catch up with head basketball coach of the Fordham Rams, Coach Mike Magpayo, before the game. Take a listen now. Coach, a disappointing loss last weekend, a really disappointing 4 minutes or so in that one. What did you learn from that one going toward the rest of the season?
Yeah, I just think that we have to finish. I think we have to finish. I think there's so many things that go into a win, and there's so many possessions, and I just thought, like I said that night, just took our foot off the gas a little bit, lost our concentration here and there. But you know what? It was a great learning experience. You know, I read this book called The Obstacle is the Way, and that was a big obstacle. That was one that hurt the heart of, I'm sure, the whole team and the whole staff and the whole Fordham community, just because of the rivalry game. But you know, you take these opportunities to learn from it, to grow from it. I thought we did a good job the last 3 days, sticking together as a team. A long film session, but now we move forward. We put that in the rearview mirror, and we try to capitalize on the opportunity tonight.
Coach, last game against Holy Cross, a season low in offensive rebounds with 6. How much of a stress or kind of importance was there in practice going into this game against a smaller FDU team?
Yeah, you know, we've slipped the last 4 games in both our defensive and offensive rebounding, and that's been a pillar. And so it could be a little bit of lack of depth and whatnot. We're starting a 3-guard lineup now, a true 3-guard lineup with Marcus, so you don't get that 3-man crashing as much. We're trying to crash Day-Day a little bit. But really our challenge, and here's the keys. I mean, the 4-man is huge. We're just kind of putting it on Akira and a boss, and that'll be the same thing tonight. It's like they're playing 4 guards out there. We have to take advantage of that mismatch, that 4-man, and they switch everything. So really because Rikus is doing the job, I feel like, but Abbas and Akira got to give us more. I think rebounding-wise, they're more than capable. They've shown it. And that really, for us as a program and all my 6 years of coaching, that has been like the point of difference that can turn you into a win or not a win. And so we got to get that job done tonight for sure. And
you mentioned him there. Akira Jacobs didn't get the start on Saturday, was dealing with food poisoning, just in general not feeling well. How important is his success to this team's success?
Very important. The guy played in the Olympics. The guy has
Yeah.
played 3 years of college basketball. I trust him completely. He's a lot like Rikus in that he's always in the right spot. Defensively, keeps us organized offensively, very consistent guy in practices and an everyday guy. And so we kind of missed him, and not playing him down the stretch of that game, I thought, hurt us. That's really what, after all my notes, whether it was fight or not coming up with the rebounds or turning the ball over, in the end I was like, I should have played Akira down the stretch there. I really think that it would have settled us a little bit, maybe. So we're looking forward to a big bounce back game from him tonight. Need him. He'll be back in the starting lineup. I've had numerous talks with him over the last few days, just getting his competitive mindset ready to go tonight, and hopefully he attacks this thing.
I want to look at this Fairleigh Dickinson team tonight, coming off a win by almost 50 points, where they shot 58%, a season high. How do you kind of
approach the game knowing that they just came off such a huge win?
Yeah, those are real numbers, right? Like I look at like number 8, for instance, hit 4 threes in that game, so he's gonna be feeling pretty good coming into the game. So there's a little more attention to, and we have him as a shooter, but when somebody's made that many in their last game, then you got to put more attention on him. Number 22 had a big game, went 6 for 7 from 2. So all the, as you see, I look at it. You know, I definitely watch it and then try to watch, you know, more, not the high major games, but I really try to look at, you know, Providence was a good one, but like Army and then the NJIT game, and to see how, number one, how can we attack these guys, but who do we need to stop, and then you kind of see how they've been getting better. Number 0 has been a big time player for them. Number 8, number 7 are very aggressive, and number 22 is really the guy, the playmaker. The playmakers are at the center position in this Princeton style offense that they run.
As always, thank you, Coach. Moments before FDU and Fordham from the Rose Hill Gym on WFUV Sports. Back here in the Rose Hill Gym as starting lineups get rang out to us here in the Rose Hill Gym for the Fordham Rams. From a starting lineup perspective, a few change-ups from their game on Saturday. This Fordham team dealing with some ailments, dealing with some injuries. The starting lineup this evening, Rikus Schulte, Akira Jacobs, Day Reeves, Christian Henry, and Marcus Green rounding out that starting lineup. Some returners, some newcomers, but overall, Brendan, a pretty experienced 5 guys out there for the Rams.
Yeah, pretty experienced 5 guys, and one guy, Akira Jacobs, a guy who didn't start last game because he was dealing with some illness issues, some food poisoning issues, and when he did play, a little slow, a little sluggish out there because of that illness, but he's had some time to rest and will rejoin the starting lineup.
And last weekend, Brendan, it was around a 7-minute defensive breakdown for this Fordham team in the second half. The last 7 minutes of that one that led to a loss against Holy Cross. It's going to take a full 40-minute defensive commitment from Fordham throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, and that's something you hear coaches always say is you have to play the entire game. You can't just play, say, a half of the game, the first half, the second half. You can't just play different parts. You have to play the entire game, and you have to play it at 100% the entire game as well. And you looked at this Fordham team from last game, and it did look like they kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit towards the end, and obviously that's going to hurt you, especially whenever you give up a comeback like that.
Before our interview, Coach Magpio talked about how important the first 4 to 8 minutes of this one are. Going to tell him a lot about his team. For FDU and their starting lineup, it's Tayshawn Jackson and Rayshawn Johnson. That's the backcourt they've been with all season. They're going to continue it. Eric Parnell, probably the star of this FDU group. He's in the starting lineup, along with Akira Martinov. Martinov coming in at 7 foot. The Georgia Tech and Eastern Michigan transfer will be the big man in the middle for the Knights. And, of course, rounding out that starting 5, Joey Niesman coming in, slotting in that starting lineup for Noah Melson. Noah Melson got the start in their last one in a win against Manor. It's now Niesman coming into that starting lineup. It'll be Rikus Schulte and Tayshawn Jackson taking the tip. Jackson wins the tip, and the Knights will start it off for us here in the Bronx. In the Rose Hill Gym, FDU going left to right in their dark blue away uniforms, and the Fordham Rams going right to left in their home white uniforms. Maroon letters and numbers, script Fordham across the chest. FDU offense moving the ball quickly early. It's now Neesmith kicking it out. Right wing, Jackson 3, it's good. Tayshawn Jackson getting the FDU offense ready early.
And a lot of ball movement there early from this FDU offense, swinging the rock around, finding the open shooter, and getting the open look.
It's now Fordham operating on the other end. 3-0 FDU, 19:20 to go in this first half. And an errant pass on the baseline gets away from Fordham out of bounds, and FDU will get the ball back. Not what Coach Magpio wanted on their first offensive possession, a turnover.
No, an early turnover, and that's something that we've seen be a little bit of an issue recently, Chris. They've increased over the past few games, past few weeks, and something they're looking to avoid today.
Neesmith driving through the right side of the lane, no good at the rim. He bats it back out. Second chance for the FDU offense. Right wing 3, Parnell, no good off the right side of the rim. Rebound under the basket by Christian Henry. Fordham going the other way. Henry stopping at the right wing. Guarded by Jackson, takes a 3. No good, wide open from the right wing. Schulte's there on the second chance for the Rams. Marcus Green has it on the left wing. Fordham still has it offensively. Reeves, top of the arc, going right around a Schulte screen, takes the mid-ranger. No good, rimming in and out on the jumper. Fordham still scoreless, 18-32 in this first half. 3-0 FDU. Inside to Martinov. Martinov, top of the key. guarded by Schulte, swinging left, driving left side of the lane, lost the ball, had a foot out of bounds. It'll be a turnover for FDU. Fordham got it back.
Yeah, great hands there on the defensive end. It was Schulte there on Martinov, gets his hand in there, strips that ball, and Martinov, once he was able to recover it, just out of bounds.
It'll be a full court press for Castleberry's group, Coach Castleberry's group. The Knights, full court press, Christian Henry and Green breaking it, eventually getting across half court. Henry now top of the key on the script Fordham logo in all white tights and sneakers. Passing to the left corner, Day Reeves. Day Reeves guarded by Rashawn Johnson. Top of the key, back to Christian Henry. Christian Henry in the right corner. Marcus Green takes a three. No good, bouncing out. Rebound corralled in by Rashawn Johnson. FDU getting it back. Still scoreless Rams. Rashawn Johnson, top of the key to Martinov. Martinov facing up against Schulte. Pass on the right wing. Parnell, back top of the key, Martinov. Martinov looking for the dribble handoff. Loses the ball, gets it back. Pass back up top to Parnell. Parnell facing a double team. Passes out of the double team to Martinov. Martinov on the baseline. Driving inside. Strong right-handed finish off the front of the rim, and Fordham gets bailed out there. Day Reeves on the right wing, spinning past his defender. Pass top of the key to Schulte. Schulte looking for off-ball movement. Finds Christian Henry. Henry on the left side of the baseline. Backing down his defender in Parnell. Now in the middle of the paint. Puts up a 5-foot jumper. No good. Martinov's eventually there to bring it down once again for the Knights.
And you see this Fordham team crashing the boards early, Chris, especially on that offensive end.
Martinov working out of the left wing. Tried to pass it on the right wing to Jackson. It's taken away by Day Reeves. Day Reeves all by himself on the other end. He'll finish it with a two-handed layup.
And that's just Day Reeves being aware. He sees the loose ball. He gets it and just uses his speed to get past the last FDU defender for the open layup.
Fordham Rams on the board. FDU leads 3-2, 16:30 to go in this first half. Martinov guarded tightly by Rikus Schulte. On the right wing, Rashawn Johnson, wide open three. No good, rimming out. Another lucky miss for the Fordham defense. Christian Henry brings it back up once again for Fordham. Guarded on the left wing, stopping on the left wing, guarded by Parnell. Going right around a Schulte screen, takes a pick and pop three. No good on the pick and pop three. Akira Jacobs tracks it down. Second chance for Fordham. Reeves wide open, straightaway three. Doesn't get it to go. Martinov gets the rebound for FDU. Another frustrating possession for the Fordham offense.
Yeah, a couple of offensive rebounds and a couple more misses to go with it, Chris.
Johnson plays it to Martinov, top of the key. They run a lot through their 7-footer. Tried to get a dribble handoff on the right wing. Schulte tipped it away. It'll stay with FDU out of bounds. Timeout here on the floor.
And Chris, the past couple of possessions, we've seen Christian Henry with the ball down there. Calls for a screen, gets the screen, and then FDU decides to go underneath, daring Christian Henry to shoot the three. He's done it twice, and he's missed both, but look for that throughout the rest of the game.
Brendan, in general, both these teams are really slow start offensively. Both these teams combined 2 for 13 from the field, 1 for 7 from the three-point line. A lack of efficiency from both these offenses has really stagnated both these teams in general.
Yeah, and both teams, it seems, are getting some open looks as well. You've seen Christian Henry have a couple of open threes. Day Reeves on the last possession, an open look from three. And on the other end, a couple of semi-open layups for FDU down low, but these teams just not converting these looks early. And we look back, that first score came on the first possession of the game for FDU. They got the three to go, and since then, we've been scoreless.
Rebounds are around the same. Fordham's gotten 3 offensive rebounds. That was something you brought up pregame. This Fordham team seems to be putting an emphasis on that. This FDU team, not very big. As you also brought up pregame, this FDU team really poor defensively. It doesn't seem as if Fordham is taking advantage of that enough here in the early stages. 15:47 to go in the first half.
Well, the bright spot in what you just said, Chris, is that 3 offensive rebounds early for Fordham. Last game against Holy Cross, they had 6 total, which was the lowest mark of their season. So already they're getting on the offensive glass. They're getting those second chances. Now you see this small team in FDU. You just have to start converting on those extra chances.
Fordham 1 for 8 from the field, including 0 for 4. They're going to look to get more efficient on the offensive end as we go down the stretch. 3-2 FDU lead over the Fordham Rams, 15:47 in this first half. It's been a slow start here at the Rose Hill Gym in the Bronx. The Fordham Rams, obviously, as we talked about before, coming off a really devastating loss at here at home versus Holy Cross last weekend, and missed one, Brendan. Major get-back game for Magpio and his crew.
Yeah, major get-back game, and that's why Coach said the first 4 to 8 minutes were so important today. However, this Fordham offense took 3 minutes and 14 seconds to get their first points on the board, the longest it's taken them to score all year. So we're already seeing a little bit of lackluster play early on.
Yeah, Coach Magpio not seeing what he wanted to pregame. We'll see in this next 4 minutes or so, Brendan. We'll monitor how his team plays. 15:47, as I said. First half minutes, first half time on the first half clock. 3-2 FDU leading the Fordham Rams. A low-scoring start here in the Bronx. It'll be Neesmith starting it off for FDU's offense. In the front court, on the left wing, guarded by Kingston Price. Bench player for this Fordham team, doesn't get a lot of time, finding time now. Passing in the left corner to Melson. Melson tried to get it to Cox. Cox didn't have enough time to operate. Shot clock goes off, and Fordham with a good defensive possession coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, great defensive possession. It was a great job by Fordham defensively, closing out on shooters, staying in front of guys when they drive and forcing them to kick it out and giving them tough looks.
Still 3-2 in this one, 15:26 in the first half. Fordham in their home white uniforms going right to left. Day Reeves deep on the left wing, pass to Kingston Price, left corner. He'll bring it back out to the true freshman, Rora Kaur. Gets it to Marcus Green. Marcus Green has it as deep as you can on the right wing. Back to Kingston Price, straight away. Back to Marcus Green, driving inside and finishing with the right hand at the rim. Silky play there for Marcus Green offensively.
Yeah, and a couple of FDU players trying to jump these passing lanes, see if they can't get an interception, steal that pass, and go get a fast break.
Fordham gets a much-needed jolt offensively. 4-3 lead, 14:51 to go in this first half. Top of the arc, Parnell going right around the screen, stopping at the right elbow, pass on the right corner. Neesmith faking the step-back three, inerrant pass, ball is loose, men on the ground. Eventually it's Jackson picking it up for FDU and thrown away to the Fordham defense. Outlet pass to Rora Kaur, who finishes at the rim. Athletic play from the true freshman.
And fantastic touch on the pass there from Day Reeves from about half court. Gets that one in a perfect spot for Rora Kaur to lay it in.
Fast play leading to success for the Rams. 6-3, 14:20 to go in the first half. Up top, Cox. Pass on the right wing, Neesmith. Neesmith trying to get it back out, guarded tightly by Green. Eventually gets it to Cox. Cox guarded by Bodija. Nice backdoor pass to a cutting Melson, who finishes at the rim under heavy coverage from Kingston Price.
Yeah, just look at that fantastic pass. A bounce pass, threads the needle, and gets that one in the perfect spot.
FDU cuts the Fordham lead to 1, 6-5, 13:51 in this first half. Up top, straight away to Kingston Price. In the left corner, Marcus Green pump fakes a three, gets Cox in the air, drives inside, gets heavy contact in the air, no call, and it's taken away by FDU. Nice defense from the guys from Jersey. It's now Melson on the right wing, Parnell on the right wing, straight away three, it's good. Took it without hesitation, and he's got FDU back in the lead, 8-6, 13:26 in this first half.
Coming off of his screen, head in his face, Parnell does not care. He gets that one to go and takes the lead.
FDU offense starting to wake up. 8-6, 13-15 in this first half. Kingston Price gets it into Bodija on the right block. Bodija backing into Cox, trying to get into the paint. Spinning toward the right block. A travel called. The baseline official right on it, and another Fordham turnover on the offensive end.
Bodija tried to spin left there, but when he goes to spin left, you just got a defender right in his face, nowhere to go. Decides to try and spin back right, but at that point, he's already picked up both of his feet.
It's going to be inbounded in the backcourt for the Knights, the FDU Knights. 13:06 to go in this first half. 8-6 FDU lead. It's Rayshawn Johnson bringing it up for FDU. On the right wing, guarded by Henry. Stopping at the right block, driving all the way inside. Finding a cutting Cox, no good on the shot, but he's fouled with heavy contact from Rika Schulte. He'll go to the line for two. Arthur Cox earning him, going to the charity stripe, the D2 transfer.
And that's a great job. Once Cox got the ball in his hands, pump fakes, gets Schulte up into the air, and then goes into the contact, pushes shot up, and gets the foul.
Arthur Cox spent last 2 seasons at West Virginia State, began his college career at Kirkwood Community College. Now finds himself in a much bigger role at a way higher level here at FDU. Cox on the first free throw, it's good. No points so far tonight, but 2 assists, 1 rebound. Cox averaging 1 assist on the year, already doubling his season average. 6'8", 215, a big guy at his level as well. Cox on his second. Gets it to go. Very smooth free throws, and he gets 2 to go, expanding the FDU lead to 4. 10-6, 12:51 to go in this first half. More full court press here from FDU. Day Reeves gets it across half court for the Rams in his classic Kobe 6, green Kobe 6s. Christian Henry guarded tightly deep on the right wing. Now alternates wings. Guarded tightly by Neesmith. Now switching to Godbolt. Out of the right wing, driving inside, driving baseline, out to Rikus Schulte. Pump fakes in the mid-range, takes a floater, 2 seconds on the shot clock. No good on the floater. Vicious scrum after the play for the rebound. It's going to be a jump ball, position arrow staying with the Rams.
Yeah, FDU just switched everything on that possession. Christian Henry was looking just for somewhere to go with that ball. They're defending Day Reeves tightly and switched every screen that Henry called for. He just had nowhere to go.
Henry going to inbound it on the left side of the baseline for the Fordham Rams under the basket. Gets it to Abbas Bodija right away. Gives it right back to Henry, left corner. Henry firing a pass inside to Bodija. Bodija finishing with a hook shot. Right-handed hook shot goes for the big man, Bodija, and he gets Fordham back within 2.
And a good look there from Henry. He draws the double off of the screen and finds Bodija inside.
12:01 to go in this first half. 10-8 FDU lead. Halbro has it at the top of the arc, guarded by the much bigger Schulte. Neesmith gets it on a dribble handoff, left wing. Pass to Johnson. Johnson gets it to Cox. Ball going around the world. Cox finishes it with a 3 attempt. That one doesn't go. FDU there with a second chance. Top of the arc. Godbolt. Swinging it to Neesmith. Neesmith resets the offense deep on the left wing. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it across the court to Godbolt. His 3. No good. Puts one up at the end of the shot clock, and Fordham corrals it on the defensive glass. Fordham with a chance to tie it. Day Reeves stopping at the right wing. Kicking it back out to Bodija. Bodija driving from straight on. Back out to Day Reeves. Wide open. Driving through the middle of the lane. And a travel. Day Reeves taking too many steps inside. And another unforced turnover for the Fordham offense. It's been a trend in this first half, Brendan.
Yeah, and Reeves just trying to go for a hop step there and then figure out whether he has an open shot or whether he has to kick it, lets his foot slide, ends up traveling, but another turnover, and that's something, and I know we already mentioned it, but something we've seen increase over the past few games, Chris, is the turnovers from this Fordham offense.
10-8, a slow start for both teams, 11-10 to go in this first half. We're going to take a little break from the Rose Hill Gym and send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Ethan Wax. Take it over, Ethan.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
I'm going to throw a curveball and talk some MLB free agency. Kyle Schwarber that is, inks to a 5-year, $150 million deal to return to the Phillies. Meanwhile, the Mets offseason started off not on the right foot as they trade fan favorite and homegrown star Brandon Nimmo to the Texas Rangers for infielder Marcus Semien. Can the Dodgers be satisfied with back-to-back World Series championships? Apparently not, as they inked star reliever Edwin Diaz to a 3-year, $69 million deal, the highest average annual value given to a reliever in baseball. It gets worse for the Mets as they lose Pete Alonso, a fan favorite and superstar, to a 5-year, $155 million deal. They lose both of their superstars on back-to-back days. They get Devin Williams to move Burrows to head to Queens from the Yankees on a 3-year deal that guarantees him more than $50 million. Anyway, that's your MLB free agency update. I'm Ethan Wax with your one-on-one scoreboard.
10-8 here. FDU leading the Fordham Rams. 11-10 to go in this first half. Chris Carrino with the pleasure of being joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey, the second time this season you're on a men's basketball broadcast, and it's been a slow one so far this evening. Both teams sort of off the slow starts. It's been a really tough stretch for what Coach Magpio called a really important 8 minutes for the Rams.
Yeah, a slow one is an understatement, Chris. 3 points in the first few minutes, and then Fordham finally got themselves on the board a little over 3 minutes into this game, and since then, sprinkle in some scoring here and there, but a defensive battle to this point, and we mentioned it again, Coach Magpie said the first 4 to 8 minutes are going to be very key in terms of what he's looking for out here. And we're 8 minutes in, and Fordham still with only 8 points, trailing by 2 right now.
Fordham 4 for 13 from the field. They're 0 for 4 from 3 as well. That offense has to get more efficient if they want to see any sort of result this evening. FDU starting it off out of the timeout in the backcourt, getting it into the front court. A press from the Fordham Ram defense. Full court press from the Fordham Ram defense. It's Rayshawn Johnson, top of the arc, going across 2 screens. A cutting big man in the middle. No good for Martinoff at the rim. Fordham catches a break. Christian Henry out of the right wing. Working out of the right wing. Gets fouled on the ground. And it'll stay with the Fordham Rams on the ground.
Yeah, on the other side, Johnson just a little errant on that pass. He goes for the alley-oop to Martinov, and Martinov was able to get up and get it, but the momentum of Martinov took him where that just made it such a difficult shot.
And that's going to be a foul off the ball. It's going to be a foul on FDU on the floor on the inbound, and that'll be another foul staying here with FDU. Or staying here with the Rams. It'll be alternating sidelines, though. Christian Henry will come over to our sideline, inbounding the ball on the other side of the court. Fordham Rams going right to left in their white home uniforms, maroon names and numbers. Christian Henry wide open straight on, will take the 3 and hit. Nothing but net for Christian Henry, wide open, and he's got the Fordham offense back.
Again, Chris, they go under the screen. Martinov's up there and then chases back down, leaves Henry wide open.
Fordham Rams are back, 1-point lead. Beautiful pass on a backdoor cut from Eric Parnell, and FDU scores almost immediately and takes that lead right back. Coach Magpio calling a timeout almost immediately, not liking what he saw.
And Chris, that's the 3rd or 4th time that this FDU team has hit someone cutting from that backside on a bounce pass. Just, it seems like that's been their go-to early in this game, and it's worked so well. And Magpio, it seems, talking this one over, trying to avoid that happening anymore.
12-11 FDU lead, continuing to fight. 10:24 to go in this first half from the Rose Hill Gym. Is a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. Fordham Rams continuing to disappoint in these early stages. It doesn't seem like a defensive problem. It seems like they've done a relatively decent job on defense. It just all kind of boils down to offensive efficiency.
Yeah, and it's how efficient they are. Whether they're getting the open looks, Chris. That's the thing. They're getting these open looks from 3.
Yeah.
They're getting these open looks inside. It's just, can they convert on these open looks and take those easy points?
10:24 to go in this first half. Not how Coach Magpio wanted the first 10 minutes of this one to go. Checking back in on that offensive rebound number of 3 I brought up earlier, Brendan. That was in one of the first possessions of the game. That number has stayed the same. This Fordham team not even giving themselves extra chances on the offensive end either. Christian Henry breaking the scoreless streak from the 3-point line, converting on a 3 a few possessions ago. He has the ball deep on the right wing. Fordham down 1, 10-16 to go in this first half. Schulte has it top of the arc. Fakes the dribble handoff, drives inside, and finishes with a thunderous right-handed slam. Smart and powerful play from Rika Schulte.
Yeah, that was very reminiscent of Draymond Green with his fake handoff to Curry on the Warriors. Fakes the handoff, goes inside, and gets the wide open dunk.
In the paint, Rayshawn Johnson working, ball inerrantly flies out of bounds on the baseline. It'll stay with FDU under the basket.
And that's Schulte on back-to-back ends there, Chris. The dunk, and then pokes this one away. Forces FDU to have to reset and throw this one in.
Yeah, it's going to be Johnson on the right part of the baseline, under the basket, inbounding it. Neesmith has it deep on the right wing. Pass in the right corner now. Johnson guarded tightly by Kingston Price. Gets it inside, right wing. Martinoff. Back out, Neesmith. Long 3 at the end of the shot clock. Doesn't go. Another long offensive possession for FDU in Aaron. Henry bringing it up once again for the Rams. Has it top of the arc. Guarded by Jackson. Pass in the left corner, Day Reeves driving baseline. No good after the pump faking layup. Layup gets blocked. FDU now going the other way. Tayshawn Jackson, beautiful dribble play. And after an outlet pass up to Martinoff, he loses it. Day Reeves coming the other way in transition for the Rams. No good on the shot, but he faces contact and will go to the line for two. Fordham Rams struggling to get to the line tonight. It'll be the first time the Fordham Rams are at the line so far tonight, more than 11 minutes into play.
And Chris, that's all thanks to a heads-up play from Schulte. Gets the rebound and goes for the long outlet pass to Day Reeves. And Reeves, looking like a wide receiver, goes up and gets it and ends up drawing the foul.
Day taking the first Fordham free throws tonight. So he makes the first. 3 points, 1 assist so far tonight. Fordham with a 2-point lead, looking to expand it to 3. 14-12 Rams, 9:08 to go in this first half. It's been an interesting half, to say the least, for the Rams so far. Day on his second free throw, gets it. Rams with a 15-12 lead. Once again, a full court press from the Rams. Kingston Price and Day Reeves, along with Akira Jacobs in the backcourt. They break the press. It was relatively easy with Eric Parnell. Played up top. Neesmith tries to gather it at the top of the key. Akira Jacobs fouls him on the ground before that, and it'll stay with FDU.
Yeah, Akira Jacobs just got a little too aggressive on that ball up in the air. Ends up committing the foul.
Neesmith getting it off the inbound, going right around the screen, around a Martinoff screen. Now at the right wing. Dribble handoff, right corner, back to Martinoff, up top. Faces up Rika Schulte, his defender. Spinning at the free throw line, in the middle of the paint, picking up a travel call. A lot of spinning and turning leads to a travel for Martinoff right in the middle. And Kirill Martinoff picking up the travel and turnover for the FDU offense.
And Martinoff so good down in the paint, usually with some pretty good footwork. This time just gets a little lost, it's a little off track and picks up that second foot.
Fordham offense trying to continue their success. 15-12, 8:37 to go in this first half. Henry out of the left wing, driving straight inside. Ball poked away from behind. It'll stay with the Rams on the baseline.
And Chris, that time Christian Henry calls for a screen, and that's the first time I've seen FDU go over the screen on Christian Henry.
Henry on the baseline under the basket, inbounding it. Gets it right back after the inbound, right corner. Snatch through to the left, pass up top to Schulte. Schulte finding a Day Reeves backdoor. Now has it left block, backing down his defender. Pump fake, puts up a floater, and gets it to go. Day Reeves from the middle of the paint continues Fordham's offensive success. It's now a 5-point lead. 17-12, 8:11 to go in the first half.
And he isn't necessarily the biggest guy out there, but he's strong when he gets down low.
Straight on three, Eric Parnell, no good. Rika Schulte brings it down on the defensive glass for the Rams. Henry stopping at the left wing, behind the arc. Faking right, going left around a screen. Back up top, Day Reeves. Back to Henry. Back court, playing a little give and go. Going right around a Schulte screen, straight on three, wide open, gets it to go. Christian Henry with the only 2 threes for the Rams of the evening. And he's got the Rams out to an 8-point lead, their largest lead of the evening. 20-12, 7:34 in this first half.
And that's 2 in a row now for Henry. It seems that somebody is heating up in this game.
And that pass in the right corner, Parnell had trouble with it, goes out of bounds. It'll be a turnover for FDU, Fordham getting the ball back. It's now a 9-0 run for the Fordham Rams in the last 3 minutes.
And Christian Henry was very hyped after that ball goes out of bounds, yelling something in the direction of the FDU defender. Not sure what he said, though.
Major momentum shifter for the Fordham Rams. They look good with an 8-point lead, 20-12, 7:26 to go in this first half. We'll take a little break from the Rose Hill Jam. We'll be right back with Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Joe Henry, your 2025 New York Jets beat reporters.
Follow along with us every Sunday as we cover and analyze all things JETS.
With a new quarterback at the helm, can Aaron Glenn right the ship and cause chaos in the AFC East?
Stay updated every week with game updates and recaps from @Brendan_Shorey
and @JoeHenry_4 on X.
WFUV, your home for Jets football.
Fordham Rams coming off a really good stretch going into the timeout. A 20-12 Fordham lead over FDU, 7:26 in this first half. We're going to get to the rest of the first half action, but first we're going to send it to Izzy Rendazzo for a little sideline report. Take it away, Izzy.
Thanks, Chris. Well, this game is going better than it was at the beginning of the half. And I've been hearing Coach Magpio during timeouts telling his team that they need to get to the paint because their threes just really haven't been very consistent. Prior to the game, Coach talked about the importance of the first 4 to 8 minutes of the game. And that being said, it took 3 minutes and 14 seconds for Fordham to score, the longest it's taken them to score in a game all year. We're hoping that they're able to play harder and more consistently as the game progresses.
Thank you, Izzy. And yeah, Brendan, kind of getting to what Izzy is talking about, that consistency, one of the most important themes for this Fordham team's success going down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, consistency is a big thing for them. You look at just their performance throughout the games this season, and it's been their three-point shooting, and when it's on, and the Fordham offense looks amazing, but on those nights where they can't shoot the ball that effectively from outside the arc, they tend to find ways to struggle, to lose these games. And if they can find a consistent way to make 30% of those looks, then this would be a good team, a very good team.
Fordham Rams 2 for 6 so far this evening from three. Both of those threes due to Christian Henry. He's hit both of them in the last 10 or 15 possessions or so. He's a testament to just how much this Fordham offense has fired up in this last couple minutes or so. He'll inbound it to his backcourt partner, Day Reeves, who will give it right back to him. Christian Henry bringing up the ball for the Fordham offense out of the timeout. Henry on the right wing, going left around a Jacob screen. Now a skip pass from Green to Day Reeves, left corner. Now ball going back around the perimeter to Christian Henry, right wing. Pass in the right corner, Akira Jacobs, no good on the heavily contested three, and it's brought down by Cox on the defensive glass for FDU. It's now Neesmith working out of the left wing. Beautiful crossover, driving inside, stopping at the right block. Kick out, Parnell hesitating, now passing left corner. Three taken by Jackson, no good off back rim, and brought down by Akira Jacobs. Long outlet pass from Christian Henry. Ends up going into a weird spot, picked up by Day Reeves. He kicks it out to Akira Jacobs. That three is good. Day Reeves picking up a loose ball, kicking it out to Akira Jacobs, who hits the three. The ultimate opportunist from Hawaii.
Yeah, and a great job by Akira Jacobs trailing the play. The fast break gets down court super fast. But Akira Jacobs follows and finds the open spot.
Trayshaw Jackson up to Cox, top of the arc. Cox right to left crossover, gets inside, splits the big men of Fordham and finishes at the rim. What a play from Arthur Cox, the senior.
Really impressive finish, moving that ball around between Schulte and Jacobs down low.
It's now Henry, top of the arc, right in the middle of the Fordham script logo to Jacobs on the left wing. Trying to snatch through to the left, he does. Pass to Marcus Green, left corner. Into Christian Henry, left block, back to his defender, backing down his defender. Gets to the middle of the paint, receives contact, getting his defender in the air. Doesn't get the shot to go, but he'll go to the line for two. More good offensive play from Christian Henry.
Yeah, and that's just the basketball IQ of Christian Henry coming out to play. Bumps into the defender, gets low, pump fakes, get the defender in the air, and then at that point, you just got to create a little bit of contact, go up, and Andre, you'll get the call.
It'll be free throws for the Fordham Rams. Only 2 so far tonight. Christian Henry currently taking their third and fourth of the evening. 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists for Henry so far tonight. He misses his first. The free throw struggles continue for the Eastern Michigan transfer. Just 52% from the line on the year so far. Christian Henry, one of the most effective individuals for this Fordham team, but his lack of success at the free throw line, a major hole in his game. Another miss, 0 for 2 at the line for Christian Henry. Has to be disappointed with himself, slapping himself in the head with both hands after the play. 5:37 to go in this first half, 23-14 Fordham lead. Fordham trying to continue to assert their dominance. Cox, dribble handoff, top of the arc, Johnson, his three off the left side of the rim. Defensive rebound brought down by Fordham. Christian Henry on the right wing, guarded by Jackson, looking for a pass and movement off the ball. Gets it to Green, back to Henry. Skip pass to Day Reeves, back to Henry, top of the arc. Pump fakes the three, right to left crossover, hop step inside, kicks out to Day Reeves. That three is good. Fordham backcourt working magic and getting their team out to a double-digit lead. It's now 26-14, 4:57 to go in this first half.
And great vision there from Henry, draws the defender in, and then the no-look pass to the corner to Day Reeves, his backcourt partner. He knows where he is. He knows he's going to make it.
Trayshawn Jackson loses it on an entry into the lane, and that'll go off the foot of a Fordham Ram. I believe it was Akira Jacobs, and it'll stay with FDU. They're going to inbound it under the basket on the right side of the baseline. It'll be Rayshawn Johnson inbounding it. Inbounds it to Neesmith, right back to Johnson. Johnson kicks it out. Godbolt driving inside, kicks it back out again. This time Cox. Cox takes a mid-ranger and hits it. Nothing but cash from mid-range for Arthur Cox. And he's got FDU back within 10.
Yeah, Cox, one of those guys that Fordham isn't necessarily going to close out hard on the perimeter. He gets that open look, just takes a step up into the mid-range and pulls the open look.
4:15 on the first half clock, 26-16 Fordham lead. Green, left corner three, air ball, goes over the entire rim, but it'll stay here with the Rams off of FDU.
And that's because of Akira Jacobs there fighting down low with Rayshawn Johnson. Gets that one to go off of Johnson and out of bounds.
Henry inbounding it under the basket on the left side of the baseline. Gets it into Akira Jacobs, deep on the left wing. Dribble handoff back to the inbounding Henry. Henry driving baseline, pass inside, touch pass to Bodija. Doesn't get the shot to go with the rim. Ball rims out for Bodija, and FDU has it back. Chance to make it a single-digit lead for the Rams. 3:53 to go in this first half. Up top, Johnson driving, dribble handoff, Neesmith, right wing. To Martinoff, back to Neesmith. His right wing three is good. The two-man game of Martinoff and Neesmith works dividends for FDU. They're back within 7 points now, 26-19, 3:36 to go in this first half. Immediate timeout on the floor. Brendan, FDU getting a little life here at the culmination of the first half.
Yeah, a little bit of life on that shot there. Fordham sat. Both guys underneath the screen by Martinoff, and Neesmith just saw this, took the open look, made it, cuts the lead to 7, and the Fordham offense has been producing. They've been very efficient, but FDU seemed to have an answer right there.
Fordham trying to keep FDU at a distance. 3:36 to go in this first half. 26-19 Fordham lead over FDU. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for another one-on-one scoreboard update with Ethan Wax. Take it over, Ethan.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Let's pivot to the A-10 as VCU leads New Mexico 30-21 with 6:35 to go first half. Colgate are putting up a gate on the Bonnies, leading it 38-29 with 4.5 to go in the first half. Delaware leads George Washington 25-23 with 2:53 to go. And to wrap up the night at 9 o'clock, Duquesne heads into Boise State to wrap up A-10 action. Lots of action tonight. And I'm Ethan Wax with your one-on-one scoreboard.
Back in the beautiful Rose Hill Gym on the beautiful campus of Fordham University in the Boogie Down Bronx. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Brendan Shorey. Here in the Bronx, just 3:36 on the first half clock. The FDU Knights in their road dark blue uniforms with maroon trim. They're going left to right, and the Fordham Rams in their home white uniforms with maroon numbers and letters. They're going right to left. Brendan, it's been an interesting first half for the Rams. It seemed they were really separating themselves from FDU in the middle part of this half, but FDU in the last couple minutes has really sort of fought back here.
Yeah, and I'll mention it again. The first 4 to 8 is what Coach Magpie stressed to us before the game.
Yeah.
Fordham came out after 8 minutes. They were trailing 10 to 8. And then Fordham seemed to take over, got on a roll offensively. We're getting some defensive stops. We're able to extend that lead, but you mentioned it, the past couple minutes, you look at that last possession with the FDU 3, cut the lead to 7, have a little bit of momentum on their side now.
Day Reeves leads the Fordham Rams with 9 points, 3 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, 2 for 2 at the line. The First team All-MAC player at Iona last season. The player on the program for this Fordham team, metaphorically and literally sometimes. 7-point lead for the Rams. They have the ball out of the timeout. 3.5 to go in this first half. A foul on the floor on the dribbling Christian Henry deep on the right wing. Another foul on the floor for FDU.
Yeah, and FDU just not trying to let him get around and use the Schulte screen there on that one.
Christian Henry on the opposite sideline, inbounding. Tarika Schulte gets it back. Has it on the right wing. Gets it to Roar Core, the alternating wing. Skip pass from Henry to Green. Another skip pass from Henry to Roar Core. Left corner three. It's good. The true freshman gets it to go. And the Fordham Rams back out to a 10-point lead. That freshman, Brendan, has shown no hesitation all season long.
No hesitation, and Chris, that's now the second time out in a row that FDU has come out in the zone defense for that first possession.
A beautiful pass to a cutting Martinov on the offensive end for FDU leads to a physical play at the rim. No basket for Martinov, but he'll go to the line for two, of fouling Akira Jacobs on that play for Fordham.
Yeah, and again, FDU with the backdoor cut, finding the guy cutting for an open look at the rim. This time, Fordham gets their hand in there and knocks his arm.
First free throw good for Martinov, getting his team back within single digits. Now 2 fouls for Akira Jacobs. Not going to monitor fouls too early, but like in the last game, those fouls pile up, get important later in the game. Kirill Martinov, 64% on the season from the line. A lane violation on his second shot. That'll be on the Knights, and the Fordham Rams will get it back.
Yeah, it looked like Roar Core got bumped into, ended up in Martinov's space on that one.
Yeah, it was Trayshaw Jackson on the encroachment. It'll be Christian Henry to Green in the right corner. Now in the right block, Rika Schulte. Back out Christian Henry. He'll get fouled on the drive. Another play with Christian Henry getting fouled on the floor. This time it'll be a blocking foul. And I believe, the Fordham Rams will go on the line 1-1. They're in the bonus. Special thank you to our on-site producer, Joe Henry, doing all things here tonight. Not in the one-on-one, so maybe he's not doing as good of a job as I said. Anyway, Christian Henry on the inbound to Green in the right corner, gets it to go. Gives a little look to the FDU bench after that one as well. Maybe they were talking a little bit. Nonetheless, Green gets this Fordham team now to a 12-point lead, 32-20, 2:33 in the first half.
Yeah, great look off the inbound open three for one of your better three-point shooters there.
Martinov on the right wing, dribble handoff, Neesmith. Neesmith, floater off the glass, does not get it to go. And Akira Jacobs, outlet pass to Christian Henry. Kid Christian Henry moving with speed, no good at the rim. Received a lot of contact, but no foul. FDU moving the other way in transition. Rayshaw Johnson to Eric Parnell, top of the arc, to Martinov. Martinov facing up Akira Jacobs. Dribble handoff to Neesmith. Neesmith fakes right, goes left, kicks it back out. Rayshawn Johnson driving through the left side of the lane, puts on the brakes at the left block and finishes. Great play there by Rayshawn Johnson, giving this FDU offense a play when they needed it.
Yeah, and so strong on that drive, Chris. Bumps Green off him when he gets to the rim. That way he gets the open look.
32-22, Fordham with a 10-point lead, 1:53 to go in this first half. Fordham still keeping FDU at bay, but maybe not as much separation in that lead as some Fordham fans would like.
Yeah, and you look at just kind of how things progress over the past few minutes, Chris. I think what it ultimately boils down to is that first 8 or 9 minutes, and you look at since then, this Fordham team has kind of, quote-unquote, woken up a little bit and has started playing their version of basketball and scoring efficiently. I mean, you look at, they're shooting 50% right now from the three-point line, which is a mark, at least one of their highest marks of the season, if not their highest. They're executing very well on the offensive end and getting stops defensively.
Getting stops on the defensive end, it's important to any basketball team that wants to be victorious or have a winning culture at all. This Fordham team continuing to try to stay strong, specifically in their internal defense, their interior defense, maybe their biggest theme going forward. Day Reeves bringing it up for the Fordham Rams out of the timeout. Reeves going right around a Schulte screen, takes a jumper, and it's good. Day Reeves with a high jumping jumper from the right elbow, and Day Reeves has Fordham back up 12.
Yeah, that one just a simple screen from Schulte. Reeves goes off of it, catches the defender sagging, and just decides to pull it from the elbow.
Fordham with a 12-point lead, 34-22, 1:22 to go in this first half. It's Martinoff for FDU, top of the arc. Loses the ball. Schulte guarding tightly. 5 steals in their last game last weekend. Now Neesmith guarded tightly by Reeves. Reeves stops Neesmith. Neesmith takes a shot. No good from the right block. Good defense there from Day Reeves. Described as a defensive menace on his PR release this summer. Going left around a Schulte screen. Now right around a Schulte screen. Thought about the shot from straight on. Pass to Christian Henry. Left wing. Drives inside. Behind the back pass. Skip pass to Schulte. From Schulte to Rorikor, who hits the 3. As silky and as smooth as Fordham's offense has been all season. Maybe not the call, but the offense for sure.
And back-to-back no-look passes from Christian Henry behind the back, and then Schulte with the no-look pass to Rorikor.
Nice ball movement from FDU. Wide open. Martinoff 3. No good from straight on. And that's going to be an over-the-back call. That one going on Tayshaw Jackson of FDU. And Fordham going to get the ball back. Or Fordham going into the bonus. 27.3 on the clock. And the Fordham Rams will shoot the 1-and-1. 37-22, 15-point lead for the Rams. 27.3 on the clock. No shot clock, obviously.
And a great job on that last possession, Chris, crashing the glass, making sure that if FDU wanted that offensive board, they'd have to fight for it, and they did fight for it. This one, just a little too hard, and it goes against them.
Marcus Green now going to the line. 5 points, 1 rebound so far this evening. He's only taken 2 free throws on the season so far. Misses his first there. Rorikor on the offensive glass. An extra chance for Fordham. Shot clock is on now. 17 on the shot clock, 20 on the game clock. Christian Henry deep on the right wing, resetting the Fordham offense. Henry, top of the arc, goes left around a Schulte screen. Pass to Day Reeves, straight on. Makes a dribble move, takes a straight on 3. No good on the high arcing shot. 3 seconds for FDU. Half court heave. No good from Tayshaw Jackson. And that's how our first half will end. A strong finish for the Fordham Rams in a very positive first half. A 15-point lead going into the locker room, 37-22.
Yeah, very strong finish from the Rams. Again, you look at that score when they sitting at the 11:20 mark remaining in that first half, and it was 10-8. And since then, Fordham has jumped out to a 15-point lead to end the half.
FDU has struggled offensively. FDU's 22 points in that first half. That's the least by a D1 Fordham opponent in a first half this season. FDU also shooting 34.8% from the field. That's the second lowest field goal percentage from a D1 opponent Fordham has faced in a single half this season. Lowest was the second half versus LIU. That was 25% for the Sharks. A very positive first half, especially for the defense of this Fordham team. They're going to look to continue that in the second half with maybe a little more consistency on the offensive end.
Yeah, a little more consistency. You look at their three-point shooting, though, 7-14 to this point. A fantastic mark there on their three-point shooting. And they're hitting the offensive glass. 7 offensive rebounds to this point, Chris. But you look at last game against Holy Cross, and this is kind of where they were sitting at that point where they were 4 minutes remaining in the game and then just kind of took their foot off the gas. So that's going to be something Coach McPile is probably going to hark on in the locker room is keep that foot on the gas.
After one half here in the Boogie Down Bronx at the Rose Hill Gym, it's a 15-point Fordham lead, 37-22 over the FDU Knights. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studios for a halftime show with Ethan Wax and, of course, our studio host, Derek Bullier. Take it away, Derek.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Thank you, Chris and Brendan, and good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Rose Hill studio for the halftime report. I am your host, Derek Bullier, joined by Ethan Wax, as we're going to dive into this first half of Fordham men's basketball, where your Rams are up 37-22 on the FDU Knights. And looking at the score at halftime, 37-22, if you watch the first 5 minutes of this game, you would not have expected Fordham or FDU, to be honest, to be anywhere near where they are at this point. The score was 3-2 for quite a bit. It took Fordham 3 minutes to score their first points. FDU scored immediately right off the bat with a 3, but didn't score for the next 5-ish minutes. And it seemed like Fordham was on pace to score 22 at the timeout at the 5-minute mark. FDU really wasn't. They weren't clicking on offense. Their offense really never seemed to click fully. So they only have 22 in that first half, opposed to they're down 15 to Fordham at the moment. But this first 5 minutes of this game look entirely different than the next 15 minutes did. Fordham really started clicking. They went 0 for 4 from 3 to start the game, and then they hit on their next 8 attempts, they hit 6 of those. They really clicked from the three-point line.
Yes, 100%. I think they sort of, at the start, was kind of feeling out their opponent a little bit, seeing sort of what they can do against this team, and maybe took them a little bit lightly at the beginning, but then really kicked it into high gear, making 3 balls and really playing their game. But the key is if they can almost replicate their first half play and really put this game away, because we know that last time they had a lead last game against Holy Cross on Saturday afternoon, and they let that lead blow. So it's going to be the first few minutes of this second half is going to be critical to really put the knockout punch against this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris and Brendan into that first half saying that Coach Magpio probably going to go into that locker room and say, don't take your foot off the gas. A 15-point lead isn't something that it's not something that can be erased easily, but it is something that can definitely be erased if Fordham starts to let their foot off the gas and starts playing down to their opponent's level. Chris and Brendan also were saying at the beginning that this FDU defense isn't necessarily one of the greatest in college basketball, and they were saying that the first few minutes of this game were really important to Coach Magpio and just this offense in general, and those first couple minutes looked really bad. But then as this game went on, it seemed like Fordham kind of, as you said, warmed up to their opponent, kind of saw what their opponent was doing, and it seemed like the perimeter defense from FDU hasn't really been working, as Fordham's really been able to abuse and go off from the three-point line, especially Day Reeves. Well, he hasn't necessarily gone off from 3 so far, but he has 11 points so far in this game, shooting about 50% total. A lot of Fordham players being able to do their own thing. We have a couple players with a lot of points. We have 6 from one player, 8 from another. We have a lot of spread out points and just a lot of threes from a lot of different guys. And it seems like this Fordham offense, finally, which we don't really see a whole ton, especially in first halves, is really clicking on all cylinders so far.
Yeah, 14 of 31 from the field so far, 45%. 8 of 23 for FDU, and 3 of 12 from 3 is FDU compared to Fordham's 7 of 14. And I like how they're spreading the wealth. You don't want to be a 1 or 2 guys stealing the show type of team. You want to spread the wealth, make sure everyone's involved in the offense and contributing at a high level.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of that. Day Reeves has been a really star player for Fordham so far this year. He's been taking a lot of the control. And then also on the other side, for the women's side, which I've done a lot of coverage with, Alexis Black seems to take a lot of the coverage over there on the women's side. So it seems like Fordham maybe has that problem with one player trying to take everyone on their back and hold on the offense. But in this game so far, it seems like they've been able to, as you said, spread the wealth.
Spread the wealth, baby. That's the key.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
And as you mentioned the field goal attempts, you mentioned the field goals made, but also the attempts, 23 attempts for FDU, 31 for Fordham. There's a big reason for that. Fordham, as Chris and Brendan have beat like a dead horse, the offensive rebounds have been really key.
7 of 2. That's the key mark there. And you just gotta keep going with those offensive rebounds and beating the possession game. And if you do that, you have a good recipe for success to win.
Absolutely. And Jacobs and Schulte have really led that, as they have 6 and 7 rebounds each other. 7 offensive rebounds total for Fordham has really allowed them to do that. But another thing that I want to note, on top of the offensive rebounds, that is a really important thing for Fordham on both sides. Just being able to get those defensive rebounds to get themselves back on the court, but able to get those offensive rebounds and those second chance points. But a super big thing that I noticed looking through these stats and following this game, one thing that I wasn't noting, the turnover battle is really big. As FDU and Fordham, in the last 5-ish minutes of this game, neither team were really turning the ball over, playing a lot of clean basketball. But 8 turnovers for FDU. To Fordham, they only have 3 turnovers so far in this first half. A lot can change, obviously, in the second half. It might be a lot different at the end of this game. But only 3 turnovers in 20 minutes of basketball is a really, really big way to keep yourself in a 15-point lead.
Yeah, keep the turnovers down. Make sure that there's no let up with that, and keep going for the steals. Don't be reckless with the fouls. Just keep everything down and sort of keep up the pace with the shot making.
I do agree with that, and I do want to say that Fordham, with their 15-point lead, I'm not going to say they can play it a little easy, but they can play a little safer than normally they do. Fordham typically playing down in games a lot. They have to try and come back and play some dangerous basketball, but in this, I'm not saying that they play safe and they let off the gas at all. Obviously, they need to keep on that gas, but as you said, keeping the fouls down, which they've been able to do so far. FDU with 7 fouls as Fordham entered the bonus at the end of that half. Not really able to take advantage of the free throws. There wasn't a lot of free throws in that first half. Fordham also shooting only 40%. They only had 5 free throw attempts, but only made 2 of those. So that is a key thing that might be important in that second half, is maybe there's more fouls in that second half and more free throw attempts. So that might be a big thing for Fordham if they can't lock in on those free throws, on those free throw attempts.
Yeah, I would say, not to call out a player, but can Christian Henry really make his damn free throws? Like, he needs to step up. He's one of their key players, and you got to make free throws in order to win. Like, down the stretch, if the game gets close, you need to be able to make free throws. That's the bottom line.
Free throws can make or break a game, especially if it becomes tight in that second half and teams are constantly fouling each other. If you can't make your free throws, you might end up losing those games if you're not able to. But I remember on the broadcast, Chris noted that Henry was upset with himself a lot. He missed both of his free throw attempts, and he slapped himself in the face trying to hype himself up. Seen that a lot in major sports where they get mad at themselves. They slap themselves trying to get themselves hype. Hopefully that can lock him in. Maybe Coach Magpie also able to give him a little pep talk in the locker room. But another thing, as we are on the point of turnovers, having a lot of turnovers for your opponent is good. Removing the ball out of their hands so they're not allowed to score. But the biggest thing for a lot of teams is being able to take advantage of those turnovers, which I think Fordham has done a really, really good job of doing. Day Reeves with a lot of steals and just being able to go down the court undefended for an easy layup. Fordham with 13 points off turnovers, which I think is really, really big for this Fordham team, being able to not only get those turnovers, which is hard on its own, with their 4 steals, which has been really impressive, but also no steals for FDU, which is a good thing to note. Also, Fordham being able to keep their own turnovers away. But taking advantage of those turnovers, I think, is really, really good. Being able to get those undefended layups, almost like a free throw where you're unguarded, but being able to get those steals at half court and being able to go down and drive, fast break and try and get those points, 13 points off turnovers, I think is really big.
Yeah, you gotta be running in transition and getting those easy baskets, because playing 30 seconds of grueling offensive possessions is just not the way that you want to take care of this team. You got to be able to throw the first punch and just keep punching until you get a tap out.
Exactly. And I think Coach Magpie has done a really good job. Early on this season, we were kind of trying to see the Magpie formula, and it wasn't really exactly coming together. But I think this is a really good showing of what Coach Magpie wants to see from his players. Kind of passing the ball around a lot, trying to get open threes. I've seen a lot of passes to the corner where a player gets open for a 3. Maybe it's Henry, maybe it's Day Reeves getting the pass or throwing the pass himself. Henry himself also has 5 assists in this game, as we've noted. There's been a lot of players passing the ball around, having their own opportunities. But I think this is a really good showing of the Magpie offense, being able to go down the court, kind of move the ball in transition, but then also being able to pass off to the perimeter, make those threes. Obviously, Fordham started this game 0 for 4, but they've definitely heated up from 3, and I think that, 1 is a note to how Fordham has been playing so far. They've warmed up to their opponent, but 2, it might be a thing of FDU, their perimeter defense isn't exactly great, which I know Chris did note, and I said that earlier, but I think this is a really good showing of what Coach Magpie wants to see from his offense and also wants to see from their defenses. They've been holding off FDU quite a bit. They did allow him to come back a couple times. They had a double-digit lead, but they stretched it down to a single-point lead. But now at this point, 15-point lead, pretty securely so far in this first half. But I think this is really the thing that when Coach Magpie joined this Fordham team, joined this coaching staff, I think this is really what he imagined from his offense, and I think this is really what's showing so far from the games before and then the practices and everything. I think this is really what's showing and what the Magpie offense is. This is what he wants.
Yes, 100%. But I would caution by saying, even though you're shooting great from 3, don't rely on the 3 so much. You got to take the best shot available and not just chuck up 3s, because what if you miss a bunch and then it leads to FDU going the other way and going on a run? You cannot give this team life, and you got to just put them away.
Yeah, with Fordham shooting so hot from three, you do just hope that they don't obviously try and heat check themselves and chuck the ball from half court. But I think if the three's working, but then if you see, obviously, the Magpie offense runs heavily on the three ball, but Fordham has had a lot of issues with, if the three ball isn't working, continuing to shoot that three, continuing to shoot beyond the arc, even if it isn't working, and relying a little too heavily on it. So I think with a big lead, I think that they should be able to continue shooting that three, but I think if that three ball does go back to where this game started, where they go for 4, they need to be able to adapt. Adaptability is the biggest thing in basketball. If you're not able to work in the offense that was firstly designed, you need to be able to adapt and change. And I think that the second half might be able to show Fordham's adaptability if something does change like that.
100%.
Any last minute thoughts from you, Ethan? Any last minute? What do you think's gonna happen in the second half? What are we looking at?
You got to start out with an 8-0 run. My key message is throw the first punch. If you do that, you have a good recipe for success to win this game.
Throw in the first punch. That's what we're looking for. I think that'll do it for us in the Rose Hill studio for our halftime show. Ethan Wax has joined me, and I'm Derek Boyer in the studio, sending it back to Chris Carrino and Brendan Shorey in the Rose Hill gym for the second half of Fordham men's basketball. Take it away, guys.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
(37-22) Fordham Ram lead over FDU here at Rose Hill. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by Brendan Shorey. We're going to have your second half action in a moment, but first, we're going to send it back to our sideline reporter, Izzy Rendazzo. Take it away, Izzy.
Thanks, Chris. I'm hearing from assistant coach Ryan Hyland especially that Fordham needs to remain strong with their rebounding, and so far they have done exactly that. At the half, the team has a total of 20 rebounds, with Rikas Schulte leading with 7. Additionally, I'm hearing a heavy emphasis on the team needing to communicate, with coaches on the bench telling players they need to huddle prior to free throws and speak to one another on the court as much as they can. Clearly, the communication is working, because Fordham has 10 assists at the half on 14 made buckets. They only average 13.7 assists per game against D1 teams, and they are well on their way to passing that average tonight.
Izzy, thank you. Appreciate it. Izzy Rendazzo on Sideline Report. We'll hear from her at least one more time, probably 2 more times. And she's right, even talking about the rebounding battle, she brings up Fordham's 20 rebounds, 7 of those on the offensive end. They've done a good job on the glass so far. Second half action starting here at Rose Hill. Neesmith working it, starting it for the FDU offense. 37-22 lead for the Rams, driving inside. No good on a very heavily contested layup from Tayshaw Jackson, but there will be a foul on the floor, and that'll go the other way. Fordham will have the ball.
Enrique Schulte draws that one right off the rebound. Early foul here for FDU in the second half.
Fordham getting the ball back, up 15. Day Reeves still leading this team in points. He has 11. Now Christian Henry working deep out of the right wing. Dribble handoff. Akira Jacobs working on the much smaller Neesmith. Akira Jacobs gets it right back on the roll. Went to go punch it with one hand at the rim on Tayshaw Jackson. Didn't end up getting there, but fouled in the air anyway. Even with the ambitious ideas of Akira Jacobs, he's still going to go to the line for 2.
You missed communication there on FDU's end. Leaves Akira Jacobs wide open at the three-point line. He has the chance to pull it, but Akira Jacobs wanted a body there, Chris.
Yeah, Akira Jacobs had negative thoughts on his mind in relation to Tayshaw Jackson. Jacobs on his first free throw is good, his first of the evening. Now 5.6 rebounds so far for Jacobs. A get-back game in a similar fashion In a similar fashion that Fordham needed a get-back game this evening, Brendan, Akira Jacobs needed one as well. He's having one so far. Good on the second as well. Now 5 points on the evening. 5.6 rebounds for Jacobs. 17-point lead for the Rams. 39-22, 19-20 to go in this first half. Rayshawn Johnson plays it up top of the arc. Martinoff dribble handoff, goes awry for Johnson. He gets it right back. Back to Martinoff. Martinoff top of the arc. Left to right crossover. Handoff to Niesman. Niesman, no good on his three from the right wing. Akira Jacobs brings it down. His 7th rebound of the evening. Now Christian Henry working out of the top of the arc, driving through the middle of the lane and finishing with the floater in the middle of the paint. Coach Castleberry needs to talk it over with his FDU Knights. A timeout taken by FDU, and now 19-point lead for Coach Magpio and his crew. 41-22 Rams, 18:49 to go in the second half.
Yeah, point guard versus point guard there, Chris. On one side, you have Niesman, who pulls up from three, takes the deep three, doesn't get it to go, falls to 1 for 6 on the day. And then you have Christian Henry down the other side, gets to his game, gets that floater going from just inside the paint, gets it to go, and Fordham coming out very explosive here in the second half.
Yeah, Brendan, that's an understatement. This Fordham team definitely coming out explosive. A 9-0 run in the last 3:06 of play, a 15-3 run in the last 4:54 of play. This Fordham Ram team continuing to create separation against FDU.
Yeah, continuing to create separation, and again, that first 9-ish minutes, only a 2-point game, but Fordham hasn't looked back since then, has kept increasing the lead, has kept putting pressure on this FDU team on both ends.
One of the biggest discrepancies on that team stat sheet, rebounds, specifically offensive rebounds. Fordham with 7 offensive rebounds, as I brought up earlier. FDU only with 2. Not only is Fordham getting more efficient as this game goes along, but they're giving themselves extra chances as well.
They are, and that's the big thing is when you're able to give yourself second chances, that's when you get those second chance points. That's when you're able to extend leads. That's when you're able to come back from deficits. Those second chance points, as much as they kind of aren't thought about, are really important in games like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Second chance points, always very important. Fordham only taking 7 free throws so far. FDU only taking less than that. Only 3 free throws so far for FDU. They've made all 3. I think that low free throw number is more indicative of a bigger problem with this FDU team. There's a real lack of aggression, a real lack of assertiveness on the offensive end, and it's led to not only not getting to the free throw line, but not having a lot of efficiency from the entire field. 32% on field goals in this one, 8 for 25 from the field. FDU's offense needs to get better. They even want to compete in this one.
Yeah, not just 32% from the field, but 13 of those 25 shots they've taken have come from beyond the arc. They're taking a lot of shots from 3, and only 3 of them have fallen. That's good for 23.1% on the day. So this FDU team, you said it, Chris, not being very aggressive, not attacking the rim a whole lot.
Not attacking the rim a whole lot. Rika Schulte, along with Akira Jacobs, Abbas Bodija. Those are the 3 front court guys for this Fordham team, doing a lot of the interior defensive work for the Rams.
And they've been very good at not fouling today, going up straight up, contesting these shots whenever they do come from inside, but not putting an FDU guy at the line.
FDU gets it out of the timeout. It's Rayshawn Johnson bringing it up to Cox, deep on the left wing, to Neesmith, wide open in the left corner, pump fakes, drives inside, looks for a pass, finds one with Rayshawn Johnson. Johnson will reset the offense. Up top to Martinoff. Martinoff drifting to the right wing to Johnson again. Johnson now driving through the middle of the lane, spinning, back out to Cox. Cox with the mid-range jumper, gets it to go. Not the first mid-range jumper we've seen from Cox so far this evening. He's got another one, and he's got FDU now 41-24 deficit against the Rams.
And Cox very hype after that one. Even throws a little shoulder into Rika Schulte's shoulder.
Henry on the left wing. Now receiving a screen from Akira Jacobs. Moving right. Fiery pass inside to Schulte. Schulte missing on the left-handed floater, and FDU will get it back. Another stop for the Knights.
Missing and taking ownership for that, saying my bad right after the shot.
Johnson once again leading this FDU offense. Deep on the right wing, driving right through the chest of Green. Doesn't get the shot to go, the floater in the lane, but he'll get fouled going to the line. FDU
back at the charity stripe.
And Green really wanted a review on that one. Coach Magpie waving him off, saying, no, you're good, you're good.
Fordham Ram team struggling at the opening stages of this one, and they've heated up down the stretch. 11 points in the first 10 minutes of this one. They had 30 in their next 12. A offensive explosion for the Rams. Johnson no good on his first free throw. 69% on the year for Rayshawn Johnson. He misses there. 2 missed free throws in a row for a Fordham opponent. Chick-fil-A for everyone in the building. Rose Hill going to get a little louder here on the second one, and he misses the second one. Chick-fil-A for all. There's a fight on the glass, and Fordham comes up with it. There's a buzz around this arena, and it's for Chick-fil-A. 41-24, lead stays the same, 17-26 in this second half. Schulta handing off to Reeves, top of the arc, another handoff to Henry. Henry tried to pass it inside, pass goes awry, and that'll be the other way, a turnover for the Rams. Back to FDU.
Yeah, and Henry trying to find some angle to get that pass through. Initially goes up, tries to get that over the top, but a defender contests that, has to try and go around him, ends up just throwing it away.
A trap leads to Neesmith open on the right wing. He drifts to the left wing. 3 taken wide open there. No good, but a foul on the floor. No good on the 3, but a foul on the Fordham Rams on the floor. It'll stay with FDU on this side. Actually, it'll be a foul on FDU. It'll go back toward Fordham. FDU, another turnover on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're going to get Martinov for a push in Schulte's back there as they're both going up for the rebound.
It'll be Day Reeves trying to break the full court press of the FDU Knights. He does with his backcourt partner, Christian Henry. Day Reeves on the right wing, working left around a Bodish's screen to Christian Henry, left wing. Henry doing some dribble moves, back out to Reeves. His straight on 3, no good off front rim. Defensive rebound brought down by Tashad Jackson. Now, Rayshawn Johnson has it right wing, given to Cox, back to Johnson. Johnson driving through the right side of the lane, trying to pass it to a cutting Cox, and Day Reeves is there to steal the ball. Gets on the ground and everything. Fordham offense moving the other way. Henry driving inside, no hesitation, puts his body into his defender, no good on his shot, but it's Abbas Bodija there to clean it up on the offensive glass. Another offensive rebound for the Rams.
Yeah, and a great job by Bodija, just right place, right time, end up, Christian Henry's air ball goes right to him. He's able to put it back up.
Noah Melson has it on the left wing. Chattanooga transfer, gets it to the alternating wing. Neesmith loses the ball on the defending Green. It'll be out of bounds off Green. It'll stay with FDU, but good tenacious defense from the Rams, Brendan.
Yeah, and as soon as Green saw that ball was a little bit iffy in Neesmith's hands, he immediately went for it, is able to poke that one out and give FDU a chance to reset and throw this one in.
FDU still trailing by 19, 43-24. Fordham lead, 15:58 to go in the second half. We'll take a little break from the Boogie Down Bronx. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hello everyone, I'm Trey Rodriguez, calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. We're live every Saturday on YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later at night on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We cover the latest news in the sports world with our wide range of beat reporters, as well as exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes. We'll see you next Saturday on One-on-One.
(43-24) here at the Rose Hill Gym. Two of Brendan Shorey's roommates just flashing on the Jumbotron. Got a kick from the two of us here in the broadcasting booth. The Fordham Rams continuing their momentum here at the early stages of the second half. A now 19-point lead over FDU. That's the largest lead they've had so far this evening. It's a season-high 3 steals for Day Reeves. He leads the Fordham Rams in points. Day Reeves with multiple steals in the first 4 games of this season, hadn't had multiple steals in a game since. And so far today, really doing a good job anchoring this Fordham defense that's been so successful.
Yeah, and he leads the team in steals on the day with three out of the 5 steals for this Fordham defense. And forcing those turnovers are so great, but what's even better is being able to convert on those turnovers, get those points off turnovers. 15 points off of the turnovers that Fordham has forced so far in this game, compared to only 2 from FDU to this point.
Yeah, it's a big discrepancy. The turnover battle, this Fordham team with only 4 and FDU with 9. An even bigger discrepancy, those points off turnovers. Fordham with 15 points off turnovers to FDU's 2. Brendan, that's 13 points of difference and a major part of the lead, the Fordham lead in this one.
Yeah, and that is the best thing, is when your team is able to go down and get points off these turnovers. Creating the turnovers is just step one. You have to be able to go and do something on the offensive end about them. And with Fordham 15 points, 13 more than FDU off these turnovers today, it's going to become a huge advantage.
Godbold gets it to Cox quickly in the FDU offense. Cox misses a 3, back out to Godbold. Godbold, the Albany native freshman, gets it to Cox, top of the arc. Cox tries to drive inside, loses the ball, keeps it, gets a shot up, gets it blocked by Abbas Bodija. Abbas Bodija says no, and the Fordham offense going the other way. Day Reeves, guarded by Neesmith on the right wing. Reeves driving left, spinning right, and finishing with a jumper. Day Reeves from 10 feet is pure, and that's silky play all around offensively for Day Reeves, the A10 preseason player. All A10 preseason player.
Day Reeves just so smooth with the ball in his hand. That spin move created so much space for him to get the shot up.
Long 3 from Melson on the right wing, no good. Deep on that right wing, and now Fordham's offense coming the other way. Day Reeves out of the left corner, working on Neesmith. Now pass in the right corner, the true freshman, Roar Core. Back up top to Green. Green going left around a Jacobs screen, takes a 3, no good on the screen off the 3, and the defensive rebound brought down by Melson. It's now the other way, FDU moving quickly offensively. It was Jackson driving inside from the right wing, didn't get a shot to go, but got a foul on the floor. It'll be inbounded by FDU.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned how fast they were going. It seems like earlier in this half that this FDU team has been trying to push the pace whenever they're getting these defensive rebounds, push the pace, force Fordham into a hurried back sort of defense.
It'll be Tayshaw Jackson back at the line. Roar Core being told to sub out of this one. I think there might be a bit of an injury for the true freshman. It'll be Kingston Price subbing back in this one for the Fordham Rams in his What the Kobe 8 sneakers, one of the most legendary sneakers in a legendary run for Nike basketball over around a decade. As the first shot at the free throw line is good for Tayshawn Jackson. A bit of a smaller group out there for the Fordham Rams as Rika Schulte, the big man, subs in for Marcus Green. Bas Bodija now in there with Kingston Price, Rika Schulte, Akira Jacobs, and Day Reeves. An actually bigger lineup for the Fordham Rams than usual. Second one is good for Jackson from the line.
Yeah, it went from smaller to bigger when Schulte came in for Green.
Now inbounded in the backcourt. Full court press from FDU. Neesmith and Melson in the backcourt defending. Day Reeves is the ball handler to get it across half court. Day Reeves stops at the free throw line, brings it back out to Schulte. Schulte top of the arc. Looking for a pass, finds one with Bodija. Left corner, back to Schulte. Schulte top of the arc, fakes the dribble handoff. Fiery pass inside, Jacobs couldn't hold on to it. FDU coming the other way now after the turnover. Cox driving inside on Schulte, barreling him over and finishing at the rim. Cox keeping this FDU offense active.
Yeah, and Cox so strong on that one. It's not easy to move Schulte like that, but Cox pushes him out of the way with ease with that shoulder.
Day Reeves breaking the full court press of FDU and then throwing it in the stands, trying to find Akira Jacobs on the driving kick. It'll be FDU ball once again. They're trailing by 17, 45-28, 13:55 to go in this first half.
And Chris, now this Fordham lineup getting smaller with Christian Henry coming in for Akira Jacobs.
Neesman now with the ball. FDU trying to shorten this lead past 17, 13:46 to go in this second half. Tayshaw Jackson Ball above his head, top of the arc to Cox. Left wing, his three, no good. Abbas Bodija is there athletically to get down the defensive rebound. It's now Christian Henry bringing up the ball for the Fordham offense. Taps his head, calling a play for all the players off the ball. Guarded up top by Eric Parnell. Been relatively silent so far this evening. To Day Reeves, right wing. Inside on the right block to Rika Schulte. Schulte backing down Cox. Now at the middle of the paint, spinning left and finishing with his left hand at the rim. Nasty post-work play there from Rika Schulte.
And after the play, I couldn't tell if he was doing a too small or going for a high five with Day Reeves. Schulte happy about that one.
9 rebounds so far for Schulte. Schulte continues to impress this season in the Bronx. Right wing three is good from Eric Parnell. Just said he was quiet so far this evening. He heard me and hit a three. Got his team back within 16, 57-31, 12:44 to go in this second half. It's Parnell guarding Christian Henry. Henry out of the left wing. Back up top to Bodija. Bodija to Reeves, right wing. Back up top to Bodija. Bodija facing up his defender. Back out, Christian Henry, deep on the left wing. Bodija sets a screen, he doesn't use it. Right to left crossover, through the left side of the lane, and laying it up with the left hand. Christian Henry continuing the nifty offensive work from the Fordham Rams.
Beautiful bag work there from Christian Henry. The crossover gets up like Superman, gets up to the rim, and lays it in.
Niesman, turnaround mid-range jumper, doesn't go for FDU, and Fordham Rams have the ball back. A chance to go up 20 now. Foul on the floor at the top of the key on Christian Henry. That one committed by Arthur Cox. It'll stay on the floor, and that'll lead into our media timeout. We'll take a little break from the Rose Hill Gym here at the campus of Fordham University. The Fordham Rams up 18, 49-31, 12 minutes on the dot to go in this second half. We're going to send it to the Rose Hill studios for another scoreboard update with Ethan Wax.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Let's highlight some key games from last night in the top 25 as number 2 Michigan took care of business against Villanova 89-61. UConn goes into Madison Square Garden in the battle of the last 2 NCAA champions, beats the Florida Gators 77-73. BYU survived an early season test against Clemson in comeback fashion, outscoring the Tigers 45-21 in the second half to erase a 21-point halftime deficit to win 67-64. Number 13 Illinois takes care of business on the road against Ohio State 88-80. Virginia cruises to a 84-60 dominant win versus Maryland Eastern Shore. Tonight, number 6 Purdue looks to bounce back as they lead Minnesota 62-34 with 12:06 to go in the game. Houston leads Jackson State 21-12 with 11:18 to go first half. That's all for now. I'm Ethan Wax with your one-on-one scoreboard.
Chris Carrino joined by my partner Brendan Shorey. The Fordham Rams continuing their dominance here in the Rose Hill Gym. 12 minutes to go in the second half of this one. 49-31 Fordham lead over FDU. Brendan, it's been a dominating second half here. This Fordham team not relenting, not taking their foot off the gas. A few things that Coach Magpio said this team learned from last weekend.
Yeah, and you look at the difference between this half and the first half, Chris, is Fordham came out strong this half, 5 for 9 to start, 12 points in the first 8 minutes. That's more than they had in the first 9 minutes in the last half. 100% from the line this half. They're over 2 from 3, but you look at the first half, and the same thing kind of happened in that category where they missed the first couple and then they get going. But Fordham really coming out, keeping their foot on the pedal and pushing down, really putting pressure on this FDU team.
Rika Schulte, the big man for the Fordham Rams, he's been fantastic so far this evening. 4 times this season with double-digit rebounds. Tonight is the 5th, a season-high 12 rebounds versus LIU earlier in this season. He already has 10 on the night, so keeping a watch on for that. But he's been fantastic all season, Brendan. That's continued here this evening.
Yeah, and listen, he can do it multiple ways. When you look at that LIU game, he did it in the scoring column as well. He had a double-double in that game, but today only 4 points at this point, but you look at the rebounds is where he's making his impact. Defensively as well, making an impact.
Schulte takes a three from the right wing. No good. That would have been some timing, Brendan. First three, I think, attempted of the season. Definitely that early in the shot clock. And now the FDU offense working after the miss. Martinov working out of the right wing. Dribble handoff, top of the key. It's fumbled with. Parnell diving on the ground at midcourt. Gets it back to Martinov. Passes it to Jackson. Jackson driving the entire baseline and finishing at the rim strongly. Christian Henry. Deep on the left wing, that's where the offensive possession for Fordham will start. 49-33, 16-point lead for the Rams, 11-12 to go in this second half. Christian Henry, top of the key, ball on top of his head to Bodija. Bodija faking the dribble handoff, now in the left post, backing down his defender, no good on his right-handed floater. FDU coming the other way. Trayshaw Jackson, kick out pass in the left corner, now a skip pass in the left wing. Rayshawn Johnson up top to Martinov. Martinov on the right wing. Tayshawn Jackson's three, no good from Jackson. Tip putback, no good for FDU. Fordham gets it back offensively. Fordham trying to expand on their lead. Day Reeves out of the right wing, spinning right, putting up a shot, no good. Heavily contested at the rim. Rika Schulte is there on the putback. Rika Schulte now 6 points, 11 rebounds on the evening. One more rebound for a season high.
And a great job by Schulte, crashing the glass, being in the right spot there for the Day Reeves miss.
Rayshawn Johnson, left to right crossover, driving from the right wing. No good on the contested layup at the rim. Martinov is on the offensive glass. His putback doesn't go. Fordham staying strong inside. They have it now offensively. Christian Henry on the right wing, trying to get past his defender in Parnell. Dump pass, left corner, Kingston Price gets it to go. Looked like a dump-off pass, ends up firing it into the left corner, and Kingston Price finishes it off with a three. Now a 21-point lead for the Rams, 54-33, 9:48 to go in this second half.
The vision of Christian Henry really being shown off here, driving from the right side, and it looks like he's going to go to Schulte below the basket. The defense collapsing on it, but he skips over Schulte, hits Price in the corner, and Price takes care of the rest.
Fordham Rams continue to roll. They now have a 54-33 lead over FDU. 9:48 to go in our second half. We'll take a little break from the Rose Hill Gym. We'll actually keep it right here. We just heard a horn there. That'll mean a 30-second timeout. Fordham almost looks like they're sitting on the bench from the way they're figured out. Confused us here. We'll stay here nonetheless. Fordham continuing their dominance. They're going to look to have a really strong last 10 minutes here, Brendan, regardless of how big their lead is.
Yeah, and it all goes back to the last game against Holy Cross, where in that final 4 minutes, the meltdown, where Holy Cross is able to come back and beat this Fordham team. They're absolutely not going to let that happen again. They're not going to let their foot come off the gas. They're not going to let up and go a little easier towards the end of the game, start coasting. They're going to keep the pressure on for the entirety of the game.
Now top of the arc. Johnson playing it to Godbolt. Back to Johnson. Straightaway three is nothing but net for Rayshawn Johnson, the sophomore from Montgomery, New York. Gets his FDU Knights back within 20. A foul there in the backcourt almost immediately from Elijah Godbolt.
Yeah, and Fordham comes out into zone defense there right out of the timeout, and FDU manipulates that, screens away from the ball handler, gets a guy wide open at the top of the key, and takes advantage.
Christian Henry facing that full court press still, this time from Godbolt in the backcourt. Plays it up to Kingston Price, breaking the press. A pass inside is poked away, and FDU has it. Forced turnover here from the Knights. Right to left crossover from Niesman in the left corner. Tayshawn Jackson is, I believe, fouled on the baseline. It'll be on the floor, and that'll be a blocking foul going on Abbas Bodija, staying on this side with FDU, inbounding it on the left side of the baseline. Joey Niesman inbounding this one. The McKendree transfer. McKendree D2 school. Started first 4 games of the season. Hadn't started a game since until tonight. Niesman coming back in the starting lineup after missing a few. Cox, right to left crossover, top of the arc on Rikus Schulte, blocked by Rikus Schulte. Middle of the paint, met the wall, that is the German, and that ball is on the ground. A jump ball called on the ground for a diving Christian Henry and Cox on the ground. They go the other way, possession arrow going the other way.
And Christian Henry not happy after that one. He thought he came up with that ball, pleading his case with the referee after the play.
It's going to be the Fordham Rams ball out of the jump ball. It'll be Godbolt inbounding, or defending the inbound. You can hear him clapping from our microphones here. Inbounded to Christian Henry. He'll try and get past Godbolt. He does. Now picking up a double team. Gets it across half court. Now deep on the right wing. Henry. Guarded tightly by Godbolt on his right hip. Now trying to spin past him. Godbolt still in front of him. Henry trying to alternate wings. Poked away. Still has it now with his dribble. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Working on the right wing. Now in the right corner. Step back three is good. At the end of the shot clock, Christian Henry with a little magic for the Fordham Rams offense.
All Christian Henry there, just in isolation against a couple different defenders. Makes a good move, spins off the defender, steps back, and puts up the tray.
Tight defense at the top of the arc on Rayshawn Johnson leads to a foul on the floor from Kingston Price. His first foul of the evening. Inbounded by Godbolt right in front of his head coach, Jack Castleberry, on the opposite sideline. We find ourselves completely alternating sidelines with Coach Magpie directly across from us. That pass inbounded, poked away. It'll stay here with FDU. Christian Henry subbing out of this one. That in favor of his backcourt partner, Day Reeves. 8:13 to go in this second half. 57-36, Fordham Rams leading by 21 over FDU. It's now Niesman, top of the arc, drifting over to the left wing. Back up top, Melson stopping at the right wing. Back out right corner, Jackson to Cox. Cox backing down, passing to a driving Jackson who slams it with two hands at the rim. Nice play there from Deshaun Jackson. Good play from the FDU offense in general, Brendan.
Yeah, Jackson slips through, gets into the paint with no defenders around him, and adds a little bit of flash onto the end of that dunk.
Nice outlet pass from Day Reeves, breaking the full court press of FDU. Got it up to Rory Core, who held on to it. Now back to Day Reeves. He has it on the middle of the script Fordham logo. Pass, left corner, Kingston Price. No good on his three, just made one, missed that one, but Rikus Schulte is there on the putback. Rikus Schulte putting that one back, and he now has his season high for rebounds. Now 12 rebounds for Rikus Schulte, along with 8 points, and the UCR frontcourt player really having himself an afternoon, an evening, if I will, Brendan.
And that's the 6'9" Schulte against the 6'2" Joey Niesman. Chris, I don't know about you, but that seems like a little bit of a difference down there where Schulte is probably going to win it.
Rikus Schulte leading the way for his Fordham Rams in every way possible. Fordham with a 21-point lead, 59-38, 7:22 to go in this second half. We'll take a little break. From the Rose Hill Gym, you're listening to Fordham Men's Basketball on WFUV Sports. Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Carrino.
And I'm Joe Henry.
Tune in weekly for NFL Friday, your exclusive WFUV sports podcast for all things National Football League.
We'll be covering everything on and off the gridiron for the biggest sports league in the world. Every week on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcast.
Can the Eagles repeat?
Will the Jets or Giants finally take a leap?
What's Shadur up to?
All of that and more on NFL Friday on WFUV Sports.
$7:22 to go in this one. A Wednesday night matchup in the Bronx, 59-38, Fordham Rams lead over the FDU Knights. FDU Knights hailing from the NEC Conference, projected 5th in the preseason poll. In that one, Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey. FDU has had their hands full all evening long with the Fordham Rams, whether it's defensively, offensively. This Fordham Ram team looks like a different group than the one that played last Saturday.
Yeah, they seem to be doing it all around. It's an all-around effort from these guys. They're shooting the ball well, especially from three. They're making the hustle plays. They're getting out in transition. They're getting the stops defensively. They're really doing about anything you can ask of them, Chris.
As we talked about, going into the timeout, Rikus Schulte now 12 rebounds on the evening with 8 points. That's a rebounding season high for him so far. That ties Abbas Bodija for the most rebounds in a game so far this season for a Fordham Ram. It's now Niesman giving to Godbold. He'll take it up for the FDU offense, starting it off after the timeout. 7:15 to go in this second half. Still a 21-point lead for the Rams. Godbold guarded by Day Reeves. Stopping inside the free throw line, takes a jumper and gets it to go. Gets Day Reeves jumping on the pump fake and converts on the mid-range.
And you have to give Day Reeves credit there that he did not foul. He was up in the air and somehow avoided coming down on him.
Day Reeves and Roricore breaking the press. That's going to be a double dribble for Roricore. Roricore right about to break the press. And a travel call for the true freshman. Turnover is something you got to kind of expect with a true freshman. But Roricore has been very mature for his age this season, Brendan.
He has been very mature for his age, and that's why he's able to get so many minutes as a true freshman. But the 8th turnover now for Fordham, looking to avoid those. Keep that number low.
Niesman getting it into Cox. Cox drifting over to the left wing, giving it on a dribble handoff to Jackson. Jackson finding a lane to the rim, and it was blocked. It's going to be a goaltending call on the block from Roricore. And FDU getting the points after all. And Fordham maybe not happy with that call.
Now that one looked really close. Whether it hit the glass before Core was able to get his hand on it.
Coach Ryan Highland in charge of video reviews on the bench. They have a student manager with a laptop behind the bench checking plays to see if they should be reviewed, and the Fordham bench said that one should be reviewed. There was a bit of a scrum around the Fordham bench, and eventually they get an official's attention. They're going to say, we're going to challenge that call. So a challenge from the Fordham Rams. The refs are going to look at this one. We'll take a little break as the refs look at this one. 6:39 to go in the second half. Fordham with still a 17-point lead over FDU, 59-42. We'll be right back from WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every round. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
An unsuccessful challenge for the Fordham Rams. It will be a goaltend on Roricore, and FDU gets the points. They'll stay within 17. Fordham Rams offense working quickly out of the timeout or after the review. Day Reeves on the right wing, guarded by Godbold. Reeves now deep on the right wing. At the top of the arc, kicks it out, right corner. Akira Jacobs three, no good off front rim. And FDU gets it on the defensive glass. They're going the other way quickly in transition. Rayshawn Johnson kicking it out. Cox pump faking, then takes the right corner three and hits. Cox has been looking for a three on his last couple of attempts. Arthur Cox gets that one to go. FDU now within 14, 59-45, 5:56 to go in this second half. Fordham looking to close this one strong after their loss on Saturday. Up 12 with 4 minutes in that one. They understand no lead is safe, or truly safe. Day Reeves drifting over to the right wing for the Fordham offense. Loses it in the lane, gets it back, under the rim now, tries to get a shot up. First shot, no good. His putback is good. Received a lot of contact, but no foul. But Reeves gets it to go, and he gets his team back up 16 now.
And Reeves in a forest, it seems, surrounded by trees down there, somehow finds an opening to get that one up and in.
Jackson driving inside beautifully on Akira Jacobs, then losing the ball at the rim. Akira Jacobs wanted a foul, didn't get it, and now it's going to be a foul in the backcourt, a hard foul from Tayshaw Jackson. Day Reeves hitting the deck almost immediately. And now Fordham will have it in the backcourt, up 16, 5:07 to go in the second half.
And Fordham now with a chance. Get the stop, go back-to-back possessions, re-extend this lead to what it was.
Fordham gonna have to pick this one up in the backcourt off the inbound. They do. Christian Henry has it to Marcus Green, who breaks the press. Now Day Reeves has it in the front court. Fiery pass, one-handed pass to Rika Schulte under the rim, who finishes off the highlight from the Fordham offense.
And that's just great knowledge from this Fordham team, great IQ, knowing how to get out of that trap, how to find the open guy under the basket, and then Schulte with the easy layup.
Martinoff passing it on the left wing, a three taken, no good for FDU. Christian Henry has it under the basket for Fordham. Fordham offense will get another chance. 4:34 to go in this second half. 63-45 lead for the Rams. Henry, top of the key, drifting over to the right wing. Pass alternating wings to Day Reeves. Reeves moving right around to Schulte's screen, picking up a double team. Pass in the right corner, cross court, Akira Jacobs. Akira Jacobs kicks it back out. Christian Henry, long three at the end of the shot clock, no good. And it'll be a foul in transition, that one on Rika Schulte. Fouling Arthur Cox in transition, the ball handler. The FDU bench, the coaching staff wants an intentional foul there. Not sure if they'll challenge this one. I don't think they will. Godbolt checking in for FDU, that in favor of Rayshawn Johnson, the sophomore.
And Chris, it looks like timeout here. They might be reviewing this one for the foul on Schulte.
Timeout here. It's going to be on the floor. We'll take a little break. It'll be a full timeout. 4:10 on the second half clock. 63-45. Fordham with an 18-point lead, a comfortable lead in the Rose Hill gym. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studios for another scoreboard update with Ethan Wax. Send it away, Ethan.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Let's shift gears to some scores around the association. Last night in the East NBA Cup quarterfinals, the top seed Orlando Magic beat number 4 seed Miami Heat behind 37 points from Desmond Bane in a 117-108 victory to book their trip to Vegas for the Cup semifinals. They will play the New York Knicks as the Knickerbockers behind All-Star Jalen Brunson's Brunson Burner was ignited with 35 points to cruise to Vegas with a 117-101 victory over the Raptors. Knicks and Magic will meet on Saturday at 5:30 on Prime Video. Tonight, the Devin Bookerless Phoenix Suns are feeling the thunder as they trail OKC 74-48 at the half. Later at 10 o'clock, the Spurs will play in LA for the second half of the West NBA Cup quarterfinals. All the remaining Cup action will be on Prime Video. Winners will play in Vegas, while the losers are eliminated from Cup contention. Winner go home. You gotta love it. That's all for now, folks. I'm Ethan Wax with your one-on-one scoreboard.
(63-45) Fordham lead over FDU. 4:10 left in this second half. We'll have you covered on the last 4 minutes of this one. But first, we're going to send it back to our sideline report with Izzy Rendazzo. Take it away, Izzy.
Thanks, Chris. This game looks better than previous games stat-wise, definitely. Fordham has a season average of 29% from three, and tonight they're shooting 45%. Christian Henry is leading the team in threes. The energy on this bench is palpable, and the team is in much better spirits than at the beginning of the game. Field goals are looking better than usual as well, with Fordham surpassing their average of 46% with tonight's 48% accuracy. Coach Magpio, as we've seen him throughout the season, is energetic and is encouraging his team to finish strong with the last few minutes of this game.
Thank you, Izzy. Izzy Rendazzo on the sideline report. We appreciate her and all her her work so far this evening. We'll send it back to the Rose Hill Gym for a post-game show. Right after this one wraps up, we'll also have Coach Ryan Highland after the game as well. Assistant coach for the Fordham Rams, Ryan Highland. Niesman with an aggressive drive to the rim and finish with contact. No foul, but he got the layup to go. FDU scoring, getting this lead back down within 16 and forcing a turnover in the backcourt with their full court press, Brendan. What a turn of events here in the last couple seconds from FDU.
Yeah, and Chris, right out of the timeout, this FDU team coming out very aggressive. Niesman with the aggressive drive and the layup over the Fordham big Akira Jacob, and then you mentioned it, the turnover coming out very aggressive.
And an open three right corner for Purnell out of the inbound. He couldn't get the shot to go. It'll be a travel on Rika Schulte on the defensive rebound. Rika Schulte got the rebound, ended up falling, and the official called a travel. Coach Magpayo not happy about that travel call. Wanted a foul and wanted it badly. Coach Magpayo, even up 16, staying really competitive with his team. Once again, Parnell gets it in the right corner on the inbound. It's now Niesman top of the arc. Niesman takes a three top of the arc, heavily contested, doesn't go, and Cox is there on the offensive glass. Doesn't pull it down, but gets fouled by Rika Schulte. It'll be, once again, on the floor, an inbound under the basket for the Knights.
Yeah, and Rika Schulte went down early on that sequence.
Okay.
It looked as if maybe there was a wet spot on the court that he slipped on.
3:42 to go in this second half. 63-47, Fordham lead. Coach Magpayo still continuing an argument with one of the officials on the floor. They'll now officially be inbounded by Niesman on the left side of the baseline under the basket. Be a box set for FDU on the inbound. It'll be Cox getting it on the left wing. Passing it back out to Melson, deep on the left wing. Another pass to Cox, to Niesman, top of the arc. Niesman picking up a double team. Now pass inside. Parnell in the left corner, back out to Niesman. 6 on the shot clock. Spinning at the free throw line. It's taken away by Rika Schulte. Rika Schulte on the help defense poked that one away. Now Fordham has it offensively. 63-47 lead, 3:16 to go in this second half. Henry picking up a lot of contact and eventually the reach-in foul. That one going to go on Noah Melson, Chattanooga transfer. And it'll be free throws now for the Fordham Rams. Fordham in the bonus.
And that last
1-1 for Christian Henry.
And that last possession, FDU with a big chance to possibly shift that momentum if they were able to score there. But Schulte, you mentioned, gets in on the help defense, pokes that ball away, comes up with the steal, and now Fordham at the other end shooting free throws.
Fordham. Christian Henry getting his first free throw to go. 0 of 2 before that this evening from the free throw line. We've talked about his free throw struggle so far this season. Just 52% from the charity stripe, a low number for a high-scoring guard in D1. Henry, 2 of 2 from the line, redeeming himself from his last trip there. Henry, now 15 points, tied with his backcourt partner, Day-Day Reeves. The Fordham backcourt partners of Day-Day Reeves and Christian Henry combining for 30 points in this one so far. Day-Day Reeves also 6 assists on the evening as well. Left wing three quickly taken by Parnell, and he hits it. Akira Jacobs, much larger player, contesting that shot, didn't matter.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned Akira Jacobs out there closing out, even gets a hand up, makes it a really tough shot for Parnell, but he hits it and cuts the lead down to 15.
FDU still trying to stay in this one. Fordham with a 65-50 lead over FDU. 2:58 to go in this second half. We'll take a little break with the full timeout. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside US Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One on One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Another beautiful night here around final season for students here at Fordham University in the Rose Hill Gym, the beautiful Rose Hill Gym. Chris Carrino joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey. A strong outing, one of the strongest outings for Coach Magpaio's Fordham men's basketball group all season long. 65-50 lead, 2:58 to go in this second half. Brendan, a really positive showing from the Fordham Rams.
A really positive showing, and Chris, it shows on both ends, on the defensive end, on the offensive end. 17 points off of turnovers. That right there is the biggest stat to look at, in my opinion. That shows both the impact defensively in getting those turnovers and offensively in scoring points off of them.
A strong press from FDU out of the timeout. It was broken by Christian Henry and the Rams. FDU getting closer with a few recent scores. It's now 65-50, a 15-point lead for Fordham. Fordham looking to close this one with 2:38 left in the second half. A hard foul deep on the left wing on Christian Henry. That foul is going to be given to Rayshawn Johnson, and Fordham Rams go back for the 1-and-1. Christian Henry, the free throw shooter for the start of the 1-and-1 here in the second half with the ones earlier.
And that one, an action, Christian Henry and Day Reeves, the two guards for this Fordham team. You don't see it often, but an action between both of them with Day Reeves screening for Christian Henry, and that's where Henry comes off of it and gets fouled.
Henry at the line in the 1-and-1 makes the first. Henry at the line for 2, 3 for 5 so far tonight. 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 16 points. A active night for the Eastern Michigan transfer. Good on the second as well. 4 for 4 in his last 4 shots at the charity stripe. Good to see as a Fordham fan. For a Fordham fan. Cox, dribble handoff, left wing. Now works its way all the way to the right corner. Eric Parnell, no good on his 3, and that's brought down by Day Reeves on the defensive glass. Now outlet pass sent to Akira Jacobs ahead of the pack, who finishes with a two-handed slam. Contact on the slam. Magpaio wanted a foul. 2 minutes on the second half clock. A foul on the drive. It'll be a shooting foul. Rayshawn Johnson going to go to the line for 2. Fordham with almost a 20-point lead, 69-50, 2:06 to go in the second half.
And Chris, that last possession was all Day Reeves. Gets up, grabs the rebound. I think his head almost touched the backboard on that rebound. Drives it down court and finds Akira Jacobs right by the hoop.
Free throw, no good. Offside iron for Rayshawn Johnson. A shooting foul, so he'll take 2. And Akira Jacobs subbing out of this one for only true freshman on the roster, Roar Core. Roar's role on this team continues to grow. 37 minutes in his last 2 games combined. He had 8 points in their last matchup against Holy Cross. 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, as the second free throw from Rayshawn Johnson is good. Christian Henry inbounding. Christian Henry, this team's lead inbounder and receiver of the inbound, so gets a lot of balls back after inbounds from this team. Day Reeves passing up ahead to Roar Court, breaking the full court press of FDU. 1:54 and counting on the game clock. 18-point lead for the Rams. Day Reeves alternating wings, guarded by the much bigger Tayshaw Jackson. Reeves shimmying left, shimmying right, left to right crossover. Now stopping at the right block, kick out pass, Roar Core's 3, it's good! Right at the end of the shot clock, Roar Core's catching fire, gets the Fordham Rams back up 72-51, 1:25 to go in this second half. A quick 3 immediately from Joey Niesman, the D2 product for this FDU team, getting them back within 20 quickly. And a little scrum in the backcourt. It's Joey Niesman and Day Reeves. A few hard fouls from FDU. That's a 3rd or 4th hard foul from Niesman. And Day Reeves took some offense to that one, getting in his face. I haven't seen much extracurriculars in my couple years here at Fordham. That was definitely one of them.
Enrique Schulte got up in there too, the biggest guy on this Fordham team, standing up for his teammate on that one. Bit of a scuffle there. They're separated now, and saw all the coaches turn back towards the bench, make sure nobody left that bench.
Rika Schulte and Day Reeves have garnered quite a relationship over the last couple months. We've described them as an unlikely dynamic duo, me and Joe Henry, throughout this season. They're two guys you always see talking, whether it's in between drills at practice or at the hotel. Those two guys pretty close. You wouldn't really expect it from their personalities and how the two are, but the two very close. And you can see Rika Schulte standing up for his all A-10, preseason all A-10 guard. Cool to see, especially for Coach Magpayo. Coach Magpayo always talking about culture, togetherness, being united. Those are definitely good things for Coach Magpayo.
Yeah, and obviously not the place you want to see the culture come out, Chris, but to see the guys have each other's backs out there when something like that happens is always nice as a coach.
Day Reeves, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for him and his performance this evening. Stacking the stat sheet, stuffing the stat sheet. And Day Reeves to go to the line with a chance at even more. Fouled in the backcourt, and this FDU team in the bonus, so Day Reeves will go to the line. 2 for 2 so far at the line tonight. As I said before, 15, 6, and 5 so far tonight. It won't be a 1-and-1. It'll be 2 free throws, the bonus plus for the Fordham Rams. (72-54), 18-point lead for the Fordham Rams over FDU. 1:16 left in this second half. 53, the lowest score total for a Fordham opponent this season. FDU beating that out by 1 point. And it was the LIU Sharks with 53 points this season. That's the lowest total we've seen from an opponent of the Rams. First free throw is good from Day Reeves. Coach Magpayo telling the rest of his team to get back into the backcourt. Reeves at the line for his second. 3 for 3 so far at the line, trying to make it 4 for 4. 1:16 on the second half game clock. No good. Off back iron. Niesman's there on the rebound. Guarded by Day Reeves. The two players a conflict earlier. Quick pass and quick fire from Parnell. No good from very far out. And the ball poked away. It's loose in the backcourt. FDU picks it up. A steal off Day Reeves. Now Cox has it. Right corner. He'll take a long three. No good from the right corner. Cox falling really awkwardly in the backcourt. Green all alone and slams it down. Marcus Green, maybe not known for his high-flying play, but gets it done on the other end there after Arthur Cox ended up coming off limping after that play. Marcus Green wide open.
Wide open. There was no one within 10, 15 yards of him, and he took his time on that dunk too, Chris. He set that one up well to go with the crowd pop.
75-54, a 21-point lead for the Fordham Rams, 49.8 on the game clock. It'll be Jamison O'Toole subbing in for the Fordham Rams, the first walk-on action we've seen so far tonight. Doesn't have his shirt tucked in, thinks he's Kyrie, Brendan. Got Niesman, top of the arc, guarded by Kingston Price tightly. And now a double team from Rika Schulte. He picks the ball away and tries to slam it on the other end, missing the dunk. Oracor has it off the rebound from Kingston Price. A second chance for the Fordham offense. Schulte tried to have the steal and dunk. What a play that would have been. Henry deep on the right wing. 22 seconds on the game clock. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Schulte under the rim. Puts up a layup. No good. It's now going the other way quickly for FDU. And stolen at midcourt. Christian Henry diving for the ball. It's a 50-50. It'll be another jump ball. Now when at midcourt, the arrow in possession of the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams will get possession of the ball. 2 steals for Rika Schulte. We saw it a few possessions ago. He had 5 in their most recent game against Holy Cross.
Yeah, and Chris, the hustle plays are what it's all about. This one, Christian Henry diving in. The other players to dive, 4 other FDU players on the ground around him. Just a really tough play from him on the ground.
Max Miller subbing into this one. More walk-on action for the Rams. Always love to see it. Love our walk-ons here at Fordham. And that's the final whistle here at the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham with a decisive 75-54 win over the FDU Knights. What a win, Brendan, for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, big win, Chris. 21-point win Fordham now, whenever they've in games decided by 20 or more points, now moved to 4-0 on the year. So when there is a game with that has a big winner, it has been Fordham this year, and they tack on another one in that column.
A strong win for the Rams. We're going to hear from Coach Ryan Highland in a second, assistant coach of the Fordham Rams. It was an impassionate win for this Ram team, a Ram team that needed it, a Ram team that found themselves very downtrodden after their loss last weekend, and now come into this one with maybe their most decisive win of the season so far.
Yeah, and Chris, those couple of dunks at the end were Fordham saying they're not going to let what happened last game happen again. They were going to keep pushing, keep scoring at the end of the game, and if that meant a couple of flashy dunks, it meant a couple of flashy dunks, but they were not going to give up any sort of comeback there.
Fordham not relenting in the final stages, even with as big of a lead as this Fordham team had. You still thought maybe things could go awry at the later stages after seeing that game this weekend. Now coming over to us, I think Ryan Highland, a little bit of a pump fake from us there. He came over to us and then started walking back. Now he heads over to us, and we'll talk to the former John Jay College head coach.
It's so hard to hear you guys.
Now joining us, Coach Highland. Coach, a really decisive win for your team. A downtrodden loss last weekend. Probably had your guys down throughout this week, but a decisive win today. What did it mean for your group just to be so decisive in your victory this afternoon?
Yeah, I think it means a lot for our guys. They work so hard every day, as do a lot of guys across the country, but for them to kind of see the fruits of their labor these last couple days is just awesome. You see the smiles on their faces. You see how they come out of the game when you get subbed out with a lead. Just really proud of them, proud of their effort and the work they put in the past couple days. It hasn't been easy.
No.
Coach, 10 of 23 from 3 today. A mark that will put you guys at 43.5% on the day. What kind of went into that? Was that getting more open looks? Was that just converting on the looks that you guys have been getting?
Yeah, I think we have good shooters, and I think their confidence comes from seeing the ball go in clearly. There was a precedent set on getting the ball into the paint today, kind of get those lookout threes, those inside-out threes, and we got them early. And I think once the ball goes in early, that confidence kind of builds, and those guys, they're ready to shoot the next one.
And Coach, 33 points between your backcourt of Day Reeves and Christian Henry. We've talked about just how important those two guys are for this team's success. You talk about the performances you got from both those guys tonight.
Yeah, they're just two really impressive, really high IQ, smart basketball players. They can make every play on the court. They can make every pass on the court. They can make every shot on the court. And when they do it in the same game, it leads to a really successful outcome for our team.
Thank you, Coach. As always, Coach
Thanks. You guys are
Ryan
the best.
Highland joining us. Always a pleasure with him. Former John Jay College head coach joins us after the game after a very fun win for this Fordham team. Brendan, final thoughts on the Ram win?
Yeah, a big win for Fordham, and I know Coach told us pregame it's going to come down to that first 4 to 8 minutes. That's how we're going to see how this team is going to play. And, Chris, that first 4 to 8 minutes was probably the worst the team looked all game. And that's saying something because at that point it was still a very close game. But then from that point on, this Fordham Rams team never looked back, and they kept putting the pressure on this FDU team and obviously came out up 21.
Fordham wins this one by 21, 75-54. A impressive and a dominant win for the Fordham Rams. They'll try to continue their success. They have a little bit of a break now, but they'll catch back up Saturday. That one's at home, a battle of the Bronx versus Manhattan College. For us from the Rose Hill Gym, want to give a few thank yous. Of course, my partner, Brendan Shorey, doing a fantastic job this evening. Our on-site producer, El Jefe, the boss, Joe Henry on sideline, Izzy Randazzo. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a post-game report with our updates guy, Ethan Wax, and our studio host, Derek Bullier. Take it away, Derek and Ethan.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Thank you, Chris, and welcome back into the Rose Hill studio for the post-game report. Again, I am Derek Bullier, joined by Ethan Wax once again as the Rams defeat the Knights 75-54. Let's really dive into this one as the Rams' decisive win, 21-point win. Like we talked about in the halftime, the Rams needed to not take their foot off the gas, and they certainly didn't in the second half.
What did I say? Throw the first punch. You know what happened? They threw the first punch. I mean, it's not much to say other than another dominant effort. 10 of 23 from downtown, 48% for the game. I would take that any day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Their three-point shooting did start to falter a tiny bit in that second half, but it really didn't matter. Fordham just had their big lead the whole time. They didn't really have to rely on the 3-ball too much. It did start to falter a little bit, as I said.
Yeah, 3 for 9.
But they were able to get, there were some decisive dunks at the end of this game. Fordham just really able to piece it together. Their offensive rebounded stayed really good, 12 offensive rebounds to FDU's 6. Their rebounding overall was really good, 42 rebounds to FDU's 27, a really big margin that allowed them to get just a lot more chances to shoot and a lot more chances to score. The turnovers kind of started to flip. Fordham ended up with a lot of turnovers in that second half, which you really don't want to see. I believe 10 turnovers in that second half as opposed to 3 they had in the first half. But again, with such a big victory, you really can't point to too many things and be mad about how they played in that second half. When they ended up with a bigger lead than they had in that first half, and they still ended up playing well.
Yeah, in the second half they were just dominant. 21 was the largest lead of that second half, and when you can put a statement like that, a feel-good, get-right game that you desperately needed after a collapse in Saturday's game, and they knew it in a rivalry game like that. There's going to be outside noise, chatter. Can this team make it? Is this coach any good? Well, they answered all those calls tonight with a decisive win like that.
Yeah, and a lot of players answered their call specifically. I want to point out a couple guys. Schulte with a double-double, 14 rebounds in his 10 points. Day Reeves always doing impressive stuff, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Christopher Henry himself, 17 points, led the team, also had 4 rebounds and 6 assists. Just a lot of guys on this team doing a lot of things, just helping each other out. 4 offensive boards for Schulte, just a lot of offensive boards overall, which is something that they did struggle with in their last game. But just a lot of guys being able to pass the ball around, just have a lot of effort from a lot of different guys. A lot of points spread out, 7 points for Jacobs, 7 from Green, 11 from a lot of different players doing a lot of different stuff to help out this team. 18 bench points for Fordham. A lot of points from both benches, to be honest, but with this game being kind of far out of reach, it makes sense. But just a lot of good stuff for this Fordham team. You saw a lot of improvement, especially from deep, which is what, again, as I was saying in the halftime, kind of the way that Magpie offense runs kind of through the 3-ball, which they shot 43%, as you said, overall, which is a really, really good percentage. They did pick up the free throw shooting, which we noted a little bit in that halftime. They went 9 for 13. I believe they didn't miss another free throw the rest of the game after we noted their free throw shooting. But just a lot of good things to see from this Fordham team. Big, big, big victory going into the Battle of the Bronx, I believe on Saturday. I want to say Owen, is that right? Our producer Owen, he's right. Saturday, okay. Saturday is correct. Battle of the Bronx, we'll see Manhattan. Over a century that's been going on. But back to this game, 21-point victory. Fouls were kept underground even in that second half. Ethan, just a lot of good from this Fordham Rams team.
Yeah, the bottom line, you want your star players to play well. And from the field, Christian Henry was pretty decent, 5 of 11. Needs to work on the free throw shooting, but 17 points for him, 16 from Day Reeves. You're getting contributions from your star players, and you need that from that star-studded backcourt. And good job by Rikus Schulte answering the call and just being dominant. 2 steals to go along with his 14 rebounds and 10 points. Double-double, as you mentioned. And Marcus Green, I feel like is a sleeper kind of guy that no one's really talking about much. I feel like he can really get it go to another level with this offense, because if you're too dialed in on that backcourt, then Marcus Green can go off.
Yeah, if you're too dialed in on the key players for this Fordham Rams team, those guys on the bench, coming off the bench, can really sneak up on you. But you did say Christian Henry, he missed 2 free throws in the first half. He said he had to work on his free throw shooting. He went 4 for 4 in that second half, so I think he probably heard you.
He answered the call.
He answered the call, absolutely. And just, a lot of really, really good things to see from this Fordham team. A lot of improvement, especially from that last game where they did blow that lead. They definitely did not let the foot up on the gas. They had a 15-point lead going into halftime. They extended that to 21. 75 points is a lot for this Fordham team. Just a lot of really, really good improvement, and I think Coach Magpie has a big part in that. I think after that loss against Holy Cross, I'm sure he had a big pep talk with the whole team, talking with the whole team, making sure that their minds were in the right spot after a disappointing loss. And I think that this game really showed, and I think it showed a lot of improvement, and I think it's really good.
Yeah, what I would say is be happy about this win. Celebrate it tonight, but tomorrow you got to focus on Manhattan because one win ain't going to cut it. You got to get on a winning streak, got to take care of business against the non-conference because once A-10 season rolls around, it's not going to be an easy conference to win.
And A-10 this year is very, very difficult. A lot of big opponents, a lot of tough teams this year. A-10 play starts for Fordham December 31st against Dayton. But as you said, get on that winning streak, win the Battle of the Bronx, keep winning your non-conference games, and carry that momentum into A-10 play right when 2026 starts, New Year coming up. But I think that'll do it for us here in the Rose Hill studio. I have been your studio host, Derek Boyer, joined by Ethan Wax for halftime and postgame, as well as he was doing your updates all day. Owen Kelty produced for us while Langston Riding was your engineer, and Ethan Bess was getting your highlights. In the gym, Chris Carrino and Brendan Shorey were on the call. Izzy Randazzo was on the sidelines, and Joe Henry supported and produced over there as well. Once again, your final score is the Fordham Rams 75 and the FDU Knights 54. Bobby Chaffardini is our sports director, and Fordham men's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports. Have a good night, everybody.
It's a last goodbye from Jeff Buckley. FUV welcomes Allison Krauss and Union Station featuring Jerry Douglas and special guest Theo Lawrence to Flagstar at